Kroger Tenderay Beef, no other beef so fresh can be so tender, presents Hearts in Harmony, transcribed. Here's a question you may have asked many times while on those thrifty marketing trips to your neighborhood Kroger store. You've asked, just when will Kroger Tenderay Beef be plentiful once more? Well, we sincerely wish we could help out by telling you exactly when that happy day is going to roll around. But we can't, because top grades of grain-fattened cattle used for Kroger Tenderay Beef are still extremely hard to get. However, we hope that soon you'll be able to buy all you want of fresh and tender Kroger Tenderay Beef. Yes, one of these days in the near future, you'll be able to walk up to the meat counter of your Kroger store and get all you want of that beef that's always fresh-tasting, always tender, always delicious. All that wonderful goodness will be yours because only the very top grades of grain-fattened cattle are used for Kroger Tenderay Beef. Then it's made naturally tender in just 3 days by the famous Kroger Tenderay method. And it's always fresh because through Kroger's own Tenderay method, there's no need for wasteful aging or loss of rich natural juices. Remember, no other beef so fresh can be so tender. And remember, too, until famous Kroger Tenderay Beef is plentiful once more, Kroger will always bring you the best beef available on the market. And now, Hearts in Harmony. If Freddie Lang had any intention of telling Penny Gibbs that Bill Carver, leader of Freddie's New York gang, is in Rossville, he had no chance to. For no sooner had he come home from seeing Bill than Suzanne was suddenly taken ill and had to be rushed to the hospital. At the hospital, Freddie says to Penny,
"Oh, gosh, Kinsey, what do you figure's wrong with Mrs. G, huh?"
I don't know, Freddie. Dr. Ryan says it has nothing to do with the baby. The baby will be all right unless something happens to Suzanne.
Well, ain't nothing going to happen to her. She's an okay dame, and she don't deserve to have nothing happen to her.
Yes, I'm sure she'll be all right, Freddie. But it's...
There you are, Penny.
Johnny. Johnny, what are you doing here?
Jed told me the bad news, Penny. I thought I'd come up and see if there was something I could do.
Listen, this is a hospital, not an office, Rover boy, and ain't nothing
Freddie,
here for you
please.
I'm sorry, Gibbsy. Skip it, Keith.
Yeah, sure, I'll skip it. What's the latest about Suzanne, Penny?
Nothing Jake couldn't have told you, Johnny. She just passed out and's been unconscious almost ever since.
It has nothing to do with the baby.
Hey, Gibbsy, if you don't mind, I'm going to scram out of here. The hospital's giving me the creeps. That okay?
Yeah, Freddie. Maybe you better go on home. I think I'll stay here till it's rather late.
Okay. But you call me if you need me, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Or if the Rover boy here gets on your nerves.
Well, if this weren't
Johnny,
a
be
hospital...
quiet. You get angry, you're as bad as he is. Good night, Freddie.
Good night, Gibbsy.
Penny, I have all the respect in the world for you, but I think you're being the biggest fool in the world for tolerating that young squirt.
Johnny, there are more important things to worry about tonight than Freddie or whether or not I'm being a fool.
Sure. I'm sorry.
Sit down, Johnny. Here on the sofa. Looks a little more comfortable than those chairs do.
Yeah, it does look comfortable. It is.
Yeah. It was nice of you to come, Johnny. Wasn't necessary, though.
No, I know I can't be any help to Suzanne, but I thought I might be to you. I knew you'd stay at the hospital, and I didn't want you waiting out here in the hall alone.
You're always thinking of me, aren't you?
Mind?
You know I do. Not when it's for something like this.
Good. How long Dr. Ryan say it'd be before he'd know anything?
He didn't say.
Well, how do you act? Is it serious?
Yes, Johnny. He even admitted it was serious.
Well, he must know something about what the trouble is.
I think he does. He asked me what happened and what Suzanne was doing and what she said before she passed out. His face almost turned gray when I told him.
Oh, sounds bad. What did happen, Penny?
Well, Suzanne came into the living room early this evening and asked if she could talk to me. And then she complained that she didn't feel well. Had pains in her head, she said, felt dizzy.
She tried lying down?
Yeah. She said she was just as dizzy lying down as standing up. Said her head was giddy, sort of light.
And then she just passed out?
No, that didn't happen till sometime later. I don't know exactly when or if she had a severe pain just before she passed out or if she just fainted. I wasn't looking at it when it happened.
Uh-huh.
Freddie was playing the piano. I was watching him.
Oh. But you suddenly noticed she passed out. And she's been unconscious ever since.
No, she regained consciousness for a few minutes. Kept mumbling that her head hurt. And then she went under again. Freddie and I called Dr. Ryan. And he had her rushed to the hospital right away.
Sounds plenty serious, all right.
Yeah. But it might not be as bad as it seems.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
What other way is there to look at it, Johnny? Till we know more.
You never stop using that head of yours, do you?
I think I've used it a little too much these past few hours. I'm getting a headache.
Hey, not you, too.
Nothing as bad as Suzanne's, don't worry. I guess it's just the hospital that's giving it to me.
Well, look, Penny, it's a nice night out. How about a walk?
No, thanks. I don't think I should leave. Pat might want me.
Well, we won't go far, just round the block. It's pretty on River Street, and the air's nice and fresh when the wind blows from across the water.
All right. We'll tell the nurse at the desk we're going out for a few minutes.
Swell.
But we're just walking down to River Street, Johnny. No farther.
Hey, Freddie. Who's that?
What do you think it was? It's me, Bill Carver. When I step out in the light, you can see me.
Will you scram and leave me alone? I ain't meeting you until tomorrow night.
I know. Tomorrow night. Then we rob that store.
Yeah, but it's not tonight. I'm going home.
Maybe you are, maybe you ain't. What was you doing at the hospital? Playing sick to duck out and knocking off that store with me?
No, I wasn't. Gibbsy's sister-in-law passed out cold. And she's a plenty sick dame, too.
Yeah, so what?
So listen, Bill. Maybe we better not knock off that store tomorrow night, huh?
Now, look, pal. Either you go in with me tomorrow night, or I'm going to the cops about what happened to old man Billings' $300.
Are you nuts or something?
No, smart. Because I figure if you can get out of robbing that store tomorrow night, you're going to the cops about how I stuck you up and grabbed that $300 off you.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I'm going to the cops myself and tell them a nice little story about how you handed over the money to me without me even asking you for it. Or even knowing you had it.
But the cops ain't going to believe you.
Why not? They don't know me. I ain't even got a record but you. You got a record about as bad as a 3-time loser. You could squawk your head off that I was lying and the cops would just laugh in your face. Ain't that right, chum?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
So unless you want this dame you call Gibbsy to be all broke up about you being a crook, you're going to rob that store with me tomorrow night, huh?
All right, I'll help you, Bill. I'll see you tomorrow night like I said I would. So long.
Hey, wait a minute, chum.
What for?
A guy who's going to pull a job or a case of joint a little, don't you think?
Well, you've looked it turned over, ain't you?
Yeah, but I think you ought to see the layout, too. Come on, I'll show it to you.
I ain't got the time tonight, Bill.
But you got time to have your teeth kicked in, huh? Come on.
Okay. All right. Where is this joint?
Not far from here, just a couple of blocks down this way. It's a store on River Street.
Aren't you glad you agreed to come for a walk, Penny?
Mm-hmm. Guess I really need to be here. But, we're only walking as far as River Street, Johnny. You promised.
Oh. Well, that means we stop here and turn back because this is River Street.
Oh? So soon?
Mm-hmm. So soon.
Johnny, look at the view across the river. Look at those little lights moving along the hillside near the bank.
Oh.
Kind of hard to believe they're just car lights, isn't it?
Uh-huh. They look more like fireflies, where the lights flicker among the trees.
Yeah. You know, when I see the lights of cars moving through the night, sometimes I wonder... I guess you think I'm silly.
No, I won't because I think the same thing.
What do you think?
Oh, I wonder who the people are inside those cars, where they're going so late at night, and why. And if they're people I'd like to know, how my whole life might have been changed if I knew them once, or would be changed if I were to meet them now. Isn't that what you think about, too?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I think about. It's true, Johnny. How meeting one person can suddenly change your life. It's kind of frightening to think about sometimes. Your life can be going along smoothly at almost a dull and boring pace. And then someone can come along and suddenly life's a turmoil of excitement.
Or trouble.
Yeah.
And sorrow.
Yeah.
And disappointment.
Yeah. Oh, Johnny, it's so lovely, and we haven't been away from the hospital but a minute or two. So,
Yeah?
So let's walk up River Street for a block or two.
Okay.
And Johnny, hold my hand if you don't mind.
There's a joint, Freddie, just across the street.
Okay, I see it, Bill. Now I scram home.
No, duck back in the shadows here. I'm going to tell you about the layout inside the store.
Okay.
Yeah, this is fine. Nobody can see us here. Now, you see the door right there?
Yeah.
That's the River Street entrance. Got a double lock on the inside of it.
How are we going to get through that?
We ain't. We're going to duck the River Street entrance and come through. Hey, duck back in the dark a little. A couple of lovers ambling down River Street on the other side.
Yeah, I see them. Looks like a couple of lovers, all right. And okay, too. They're holding hands. Well, I'll be a...
Get back in the shadows, you stupid fool, and stay here.
Yeah, okay. But that guy's holding hands with Gibbsy when she ought to be back there.
Hey, that dame over there is your pal, Gibbsy.
Yeah, what's it to you?
Nothing, chum, nothing at all. Only I'm glad I see what she looks like.
Yeah, why?
Because if you sort of turn yellow and don't show up to knock off that store tomorrow night, I'll be sure to rough up the right dame, that's why.
Well, seems as if Freddie Lang will have to rob the store with Bill Carver, or put Penny Gibbs in serious danger. But won't Freddie bring trouble to Penny even if he does rob the store? And how serious is Suzanne's strange and sudden illness? Be sure to listen to the next dramatic episode of Hearts in Harmony. Has your family been asking this question? Say, Mom, when will you be able to get Kroger Tenderay beef again? Well, tell them that soon famous Kroger Tenderay beef will be plentiful once more. Meanwhile, keep this in mind. Right now, Kroger is doing everything possible to bring you the very best beef on the market whenever it's available. Remember, too, your neighborhood Kroger store has a grand selection of fine meats, seafoods with an ocean-fresh flavor, and tempting country-tasting poultry. What's more, they're yours at thrifty prices. So for the finest in foods, go to your neighborhood Kroger store.
A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, presents...
minus 1.
Tonight's story, First Contact, by Murray Leinster. They had been in space 6 months now, moving with the incredibly faster-than-light speed of the overdrive. In 6 months, they had gone from Earth outward and outward to the crab-like nebula with the twin stars. A routine flight of exploration and scientific research.
Solid object about 90,000 miles away, sir.
Located, Dort. Exactly. Identify it.
A small object, sir. Captain, I've never seen anything like this before. Whatever it is out there is coming toward us at an incredible speed and retreating to zero just as rapidly.
What's the mass of the object, Dort?
Well, it varies with the distance from us, sir.
Step up the scanners.
Well, nothing, sir. Absolutely nothing shows out there. And yet there must be something. Those alarms are foolproof.
Action stations, man all weapons. Condition of extreme alert in all departments immediately.
Captain, what is it?
Dort, I ran into the same thing once before on the Earth-Mars run. We were being located by another ship, and their locator beam was the same frequency as ours. Every time it hit, it registered as something solid and monstrous.
But, Captain, we're the only Earth ship in 18 light years around. How?
I didn't say it was another Earth ship out there, Dort.
Another race?
That's right. There's a spaceship out there, all right. But it's not manned by human beings.
It had been contemplated and speculated upon. Mathematically, it was almost a certainty that such a race existed. But in 18,000 Earth years, no human spaceship had ever encountered them. Now the situation was precipitated, and somewhere outside the Earth vessel there was an alien race. Of what shape? Of what quality? Of what psychology?
It's moving, sir. Heading right for us.
At that speed, we'll be in touch in 10 minutes. Heading right for us, huh? Just what we'd do if a strange ship appeared in our hunting grounds. Friendly? Well, maybe. We'll try to contact them. We have to do that. But friendly? Thank the Lord for the blasters.
They may not be hostile, sir.
Well, they may be. That's what I'm paid for. Put on this job for, to worry about the troubles that may never happen. To all hands, now hear this. A ship is approaching manned by an alien race. I'll give the signal for attack or defense if it be necessary. There'll be no move made unless I give the order. I do not wish to provoke trouble. Stand by.
Their ship is slowing down, sir. It's stopped.
Weapons Department, report. Weapons Department, report.
Alien ship remarked. Target fixed. Weapons alert.
Communications Department, report. Communications Department, report.
We're receiving a modulated short wave, sir. Frequency modulated. Apparently a signal. Not enough power to do us any harm.
Well, try to make some sense out of it. Report any progress to me immediately.
One thing in their favor, sir. They didn't attack immediately without question. They're trying to establish contact. That seems to indicate they're reasonable.
We'll see. What are they doing now? Can you make out the locator screen? Bring that power up.
They're doing something now, sir. There's a section of the hull opening. Probably an airlock, sir.
If they breathe there.
And they're letting something out. Oh, it's round. A bomb, sir?
Unknown object released from alien ship. Observed by Weapons Department and targeted.
Stand by.
See what they're doing, sir? They've left the object out there right where they were. And now they're withdrawing the ship.
There's no reason why that object couldn't be a bomb, Mr. Dort. Intended to let us think precisely as you're thinking right now.
I just have a hunch, sir. I think they're friendly. I think whatever it is out there is a means of communication.
You're probably right, but I won't gamble the ship on the probability.
Sir, I'd like to volunteer to go out there and look that thing over.
You understand whoever does examine it is expendable.
Yes, sir.
Requisition a lifeboat.
If it's all right with you, sir, I'd prefer just a suit with the drive in it. It's smaller and the arms and legs won't make me look like a bomb. And I'll carry a scanner, sir.
You may leave when you're ready.
Thank you, sir.
I'm all ready. Clear the lock and let me out. Weapons Department reporting to the captain. Mr. Dort located. Mr. Dort is targeted.
Stand by. If that object out there is a device to capture one of our people for observation and questioning, it'll be blown out of existence, including Mr. Dort. Stand by. Mr. Dort. Mr. Dort. Report.
Object, as you can see on the scanner, sir, is covered with many small horns, like the detonating horns of the obsolete mines formerly used in naval warfare.
Is that their purpose, do you assume, Mr. Dort?
I'm going to find out, sir. I'm going to grab one.
Mr. Dort.
I'm here, sir. I don't think this is a mine.
Circle it so we can see it completely through your scanner.
Deadlock, sir. Nothing to report that the scanner hasn't shown you. Oh, wait a minute, sir. A section of the outer hull seems to be opening. Do you see it?
Very good, Dort. Hold that.
I'm sure it's a communications device, sir.
It looks like it. Fix your scanner so it'll focus on that communications device. Return to the ship. Communications Department. Progress report, please.
We've established communication, sir.
Is there a psychologist on the team down there with you?
Yes, sir. Mr. Burns is working with us.
Will both of you please report to the bridge at once? Oh, you look tired, Dort.
We've established fairly satisfactory communication, sir. They seem to have highly developed thought patterns. We got a satisfactory translation from the machine on the fourth attempt. We can say almost anything we want to say to each other now. Of course, how much of what they tell us is the truth, we have no way of knowing.
Mr. Burns, you're the psychologist. What do you think?
Well, I don't know, sir. They seem to be completely direct. They haven't let slip even a hint of the tenseness we know exists. They act as if they were setting up a means of communication for friendly conversation, but, well, there's an overtone that...
Yeah? Well, Mr. Burns, I have a decision to make. On the one hand, opening contact with the friendly people of a vastly different culture could only be beneficial to us of Earth. On the other hand, if they're hostile, I ought to blast them out of existence without any other preliminaries.
Oh, but, sir, you can't...
I'm not talking to you, Dort.
It's not warranted yet, sir.
Yes. Now, hear this, all departments. Hear this, all departments. This ship is on an extended alert. Provisions will be made so that personnel can have maximum rest and nourishment.
Communication continued by means of the artificial language set up arbitrarily between the Earthmen and the aliens, decoded by the mechanical decoders. Dort disobeyed orders. He lived on powerful stimulants so that he could stay with the communications machine. Talking to the aliens.
Other people. Are we being received?
We are receiving your message.
The chief of this ship wishes to speak with the chief of your ship.
The message is heard by the chief of this ship. The chief of this ship communicates that he will hear the message of the chief of that ship.
Go ahead, sir.
People of the other ship, I'd like to say the appropriate things about this first contact of two dissimilar civilized races, and of my hopes that a friendly intercourse between the two peoples will result.
People of that ship, what you say is all very well, but is there any way for us to let each other go home alive?
That's all, sir. They've stopped sending.
Very direct people. Very direct.
But, sir, I don't follow. I didn't know what that meant. Is there any way for us to let each other go home alive?
It means what it says, Dort.
Sir, what's to stop us from just cutting communication and leaving, and they can do likewise?
What's to stop us? Simply that whichever ship leaves first will be followed by the other. If they find Earth and get back to their own planet and we don't know where that planet is, Earth will be completely at their mercy. If they leave first, we'll follow them. We'll attempt to find their home planet. Dort, could you swear to any decision that the policymakers on Earth will come to?
Sir, even if they do follow us, the closer we get to home, the more of our ships and weapons they'll face. They'd never get away.
Well, how do you know that they can't communicate with their home planet without returning?
We can't, sir.
How do you know they can't?
I don't, sir.
So that's the situation. We'll sit out here, facing each other, trying to outguess each other, until time wears us out. And we'll have to face the fact. Either they destroy us or we destroy them. Navigation officer, attention. Navigation officer, attention. Every star map on this ship is to be prepared for instant destruction.
The chief of this ship wishes to know whether the chief of that ship can suggest an answer to the problem concerning us both.
Do you want me to answer that, sir?
I'll answer it myself. Tell me when to talk.
Now, sir.
I am giving that matter personal attention. Every effort will be bent to the solution of this problem. Will you consider a temporary truce in the meantime?
What would a truce gain? Could we trust you? Would you trust us? I suggest that we continue as we have up to this particle of time.
I agree. Sign off, George.
Weeks went by, and during the weeks, the exchange of information continued without let-up.
What particle of time are the people on that ship at?
The resting time. All rest except myself and others on alert duty.
Same on this ship.
You people of that ship are very similar in many ways. Do you have a family?
I have a mate.
I have a mate and 3 offspring. It is too bad for them, as well as us, to have to kill each other.
This ship can't see any way out of it. Can that ship?
If we could believe each ship, yes. Our chief would like it. But we can't believe you, and you are afraid that we do not tell truth, although we do. This ship would trail you home if this ship were able to. That ship would do the same. But this ship feels sorry about it.
I believe you're a friend.
I share your belief and like you. But there is a possibility that you were put to make a trap for me. I will stop now and think it over.
Just sit down, Dort. Control yourself. We're all under tension. Doesn't do any good to pace like some caged animal.
Yes, sir.
All right, now, I've read the complete transcription of your conversations with this one alien. What does it prove, Dort?
Sir, these people are so much like us in their thinking. Well, sir, they're likable.
They're likable and they breathe oxygen. Their air is 28% oxygen instead of 20. But they could do very well on Earth. It'd be a highly desirable conquest for them. Dort, I'm as set against violence as you are. I don't see any way out of this. And I think we've got to break this status quo. So if in 70 hours we don't see any other way, then I have no further choice. I'll blow them to bits.
Will that ship receive communications? Will that ship receive communications?
This ship is listening.
It seems to me better to communicate than to sit by the machine silently.
I would have called you, but you signed off before.
The problem goes around and around. I find no answer.
Perhaps we could turn our thoughts to other things.
The psychologist of this ship tells us that you people on that ship have a threshold of tolerance to tension. He tells us that you will be forced to take one action or another in a period of less than 100 time particles.
I have no communication on this matter.
Well, the ship is not trying to extract unwilling information from that ship. A truth is mentioned in passing.
A report of this conversation will be carried to the chief of this ship.
It would be so. We are prepared.
If only the people of this ship could meet in direct contact with the people of that ship, it might be better.
We could not communicate then. The communications machine is too large to carry from place to place. In direct contact, the peoples of the two ships would be further apart than now.
That's true.
I am sad. Much that is pleasant has passed between us.
I am sad, too.
We are not yet ready for each other.
We are not yet ready for each other.
It's hard, isn't it, Dort?
Well, Captain, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were here, sir.
I've been here for quite a while. Eavesdropping, I'm afraid.
It's all right, sir. Nothing can be personal in a situation like this.
Yeah, that's right. How long is 100 time particles, Dort?
Pardon, sir?
That reference he made to us not being able to stand tension is interesting. Their psychologists seem to make more out of us than we do out of them, don't they?
Yes, sir. They hit the nail right on the head.
Yes, they did. I think, Dort, we'll just have to push our timetable up a bit. No further communication with the aliens under any circumstances. That's clear, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Sir, if they know so much about our psychology, isn't it possible that remark was intended to make us act more quickly?
Probable, Dort. Probable.
Well, why would they do that, sir? Why?
You tell me why, Dort.
All of a sudden, I have an idea, sir. And it's crazy.
It doesn't matter how crazy. I'll listen to it.
Sir, I think these people are playing some kind of a joke on us.
Joke? A joke, Dort?
Yes, sir. Over and over again, I've noticed what I think is a sense of humor. A highly developed sense of humor. Do you recall when we went to all the trouble to set up a fictitious star map and then they just sent us back a mirror image of the same one? I think somehow they're playing a joke on us.
Well, maybe you're right. In which case, you've seen practical jokers, Dort. Their jokes aren't always funny. Sometimes they hurt people. All departments, man, instant alert. All departments, man, instant alert. Report instantly. Report instantly.
Weapons Department alerted.
Target, the enemy ship.
On target, sir.
Stand by. Fire!
They're gone, sir. Not a trace of them left. Not a tiny trace. Now we can go home.
Communications to Captain. Communications to Captain.
Report.
Sir, I'm picking up new signals. Same frequency as the original alien signals.
That's impossible. That ship was destroyed.
I'm receiving signals, sir.
Set the machine up. We'll be down there in a minute. Mr. Dort, come with me, please.
It's good to be on the way home. Yes, it is good. Do you suppose we'll ever figure out what happened to the other ship?
Never. A blinding flash and they were gone.
I suppose they couldn't figure a way out of the situation. An unstable people. They had no sense of humor to cope with the situation. They exploded themselves out of existence.
It seems reasonable.
They must have had powerful weapons to destroy themselves so completely.
Yes, what a shame.
In a way, I grew to like them.
This isn't meant for us, sir. I don't know what's happening, but I think we're overhearing a private conversation.
I understand, Dort. Be quiet, will you?
Many things might have come out of a relationship with that people.
They were describing a disease they call cancer. I think it is similar to the Frogren syndrome. We might have helped them.
They might have helped us, too. Well, too bad. We'll never find them again, I think. The odds of such a chance meeting in the vast space of the whole universe. There are no figures for such odds, are there?
Turn it up, Dort. Turn it up louder.
That's all there is, sir. The signal stopped there. Sir, I don't know how, but somehow when we fired at them, we didn't destroy them, but we did set up a condition whereby they've become invisible to us, and we've become invisible to them.
Captain to Engineering Department. Halt forward motion.
Captain, why are we stopping?
Listen, Dort, you say they're invisible. They are, but they're not destroyed because we just heard them. They're out there somewhere. Invisible.
Well, you heard them, so they're heading for home. We're invisible to them, too, sir.
How do you know, Dort? How do you know this whole thing isn't a setup?
Well, suppose that's true, Captain. You heard their conversation. They weren't talking like any monstrous people. They seemed decent and warm, just as decent and warm as we are.
How do you know this conversation wasn't planned, deliberately set up for us to hear? How do you know that, Dort?
Yes, sir, you're right. They may be out there and they may not. They may be telling the truth or they may be trying to trick us. They may be friends or they may be the most deadly enemies.
You said they had a sense of humor, Dort. What a joke to play. To deliberately set up a situation where we wouldn't know fact from fantasy, truth from lie. Wouldn't that be a joke, Dort?
Yeah, but we don't know that they did that, sir.
And we don't know that they didn't. We don't know anything.
Sir, does that mean we never go home again?
I don't know. I have to think about it. I have to think about it.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you First Contact, written by Murray Leinster and adapted for radio by Howard Rodman. Featured in the cast were Wendell Holmes, Bob Hastings, Clark Gordon, William Lally, and Stan Early. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
Next week at this time, over most of these stations, NBC will present This is Carnegie Hall, a special concert featuring the Symphony of the Air Orchestra.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, presents
X-1.
Tonight's story, Child's Play by William Tenn. My name, Sam Weber. My job, an attorney, and a pretty successful one, if I do say so myself. Maybe you won't believe it, my best friends find it hard to believe, but I used to be a completely different guy. Frightened, sickly, nearsighted, a real Mortimer Meek. No kidding. That was 10 years ago. The big change in me began to take place on a cold December morning in 1955.
Just a moment, please. Yes, please.
Weber?
Yes.
Samuel?
That's right.
Okay, Jack, step back. All right, fellas, bring it in.
Just a moment. You must have the wrong...
Watch it, Jack. Sign here.
Is that for me?
Weber, Garden Apartments.
It looks like a coffin.
I don't design them, Jack. I just deliver them. Sign here.
After much straining, I wasn't in very good physical shape those days. I managed to push the box under my single light bulb. There was a card in a small envelope.
Let's see. To Sam from your classmates at the Interdimensional and Cosmic Institute. Merry Christmas. 2155. Holy jumping catfish. Hey, mister! Hey, mister! There must be some mistake. Hey! Holy jumping catfish.
They were gone. And I didn't even know which delivery company it was. I sat down to think, and it was just beginning to seep into my sleepy brain that maybe this was one of Lou White's practical jokes when I noticed there was something funny about that box. For one thing, it was dated 2155, 200 years from now. And for another thing, it was solid gold. Pop had been in the jewelry business long enough for me to verify that. At that point, I decided to open it up and see what was in it. After about a half hour of fumbling, I gave up.
All right. If you won't open, you won't open.
No sooner had I said the word open than it came apart like the skin off a banana. There inside was something resembling a high-powered kid's chemical set. Vials, jars, tubes, wires. You never saw so much scientific-looking junk in your life. And on top of it all was a book of instructions printed in mad green streaks. I opened the cover and read page 1.
Build-A-Man set number 3. This set is intended solely for the use of children between the ages of 11 and 13. The equipment will enable the child to build and assemble complete adult humans in perfect working order. A disassemblator is provided so the set may be used again and again with profit. Refills and additional parts may be acquired from the Build-A-Man Company, 928, Diagonal Level, Blunt City, Ohio. Remember, only with Build-A-Man can you build a man.
When I arrived at work that morning, an hour late, my brain was still reeling with the stuff I'd read in the instruction book. By the time I'd reached the office, I decided it had been a bad dream and it would be over by nightfall.
Somerset and Ojak, attorneys at law. Just a moment. I'll connect you with Mr. Ojak. Oh, good morning, Mr. Weber.
Good in your honor. Good morning. I've got to get my mind off that book.
Only with Build-A-Man can you build a man.
It must have been a dream. Probably go home tonight and find the place empty.
Well, if it isn't the poor man's Clarence Darrow. Hiya, Sam! Sam?
Oh, hello, Lou.
I come as bearer of sad tidings.
You don't look very sad.
Boss wants to see you laughing, boy.
What about?
Well, how should I know? Oh, and by the way, Sam, you'll be happy to know that I've just been promoted. I'm handling all the criminal stuff from now on.
Congratulations.
Of course, you know what this means for Tina and me, don't you, Sammy? Ah, cheer up, son. Tina's not for you anyway. Some got it, some don't. Me, I'm loaded. You? Ha! Nothing. So long, laughing boy.
That was my good friend, Lou White. Lou was one of those guys who always lands with his feet firmly planted in the back of somebody else's neck. In the year I had known him, he'd already managed to steal the job I wanted, and he was now working on the girl I wanted. Her name was Tina. Tina Velvet. She was...
Good morning, Sam.
Oh, good morning, Tina. My, you look...
Yes?
Good enough to take to lunch.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sam, but I promised Lou.
Sure.
I hope you're not too disappointed.
Me? Oh, no. Some got it, some don't. I don't.
Theoretically, Tina was employed by Somerset and Ojak as combination secretary and switchboard operator for Lou and me. I guess she wasn't what you'd call really smart, but she always managed to look like a pin-up girl caught with her clothes on, if you know what I mean. Well, that was Tina. I tried to steady my blood pressure as I walked into the boss's office.
You sent for me, Mr. Ojak?
Oh, yes. Sit down, Weber. Sit down.
Thank you, Mr. Ojak.
My boy, in this business, you've got to be aggressive. You've got to go out and create new clients. I don't mean ambulance chasing or anything like that, but you've got to show some zip.
Yes, sir.
Well, get in there and punch, Weber. I want to see a change in you in the next few months. As a matter of fact, you'd better.
I
went back to my office, resolved to show some zip. I bit savagely into a copy of Hackleworth's On Torts. Then I called Tina for a memo. But by the time she came in, my mind was wandering again.
Rosenthal versus Rosenthal. On August 4th, the party, the first part. What comes next? Sam, what comes next?
Oh, listen, forget the memo for a while. I want you to take a letter.
All right, Sam.
Today's date, usual heading. To the Chamber of Commerce, Blunt City, Ohio. Gentlemen, would you inform me if you have registered a street or avenue known as Diagonal Level or Avenue? I write on behalf of a new client of mine.
Oh, Sam, he was a new client. I wondered about it, but he looked so strange and sinister.
What did he look like?
Well, he was a terribly tall old man in a black overcoat. He asked if you were in, and then he tried to get your home address. But he looked and acted so strange I didn't give it to him. He went away positively furious.
Oh, that's great. Did he leave his name?
Well, that's the funny part of it. He just said he was the censor or the census taker or something from the 24th Oblong.
I left the office early and went home. Sure enough, there it was, my Build-A-Man set gleaming a little obscenely in the corner. I walked over to it, gave it a kick, and hollered, "Open sesame!" 3 minutes later, I was flopped down in bed reading Chapter 1, Making Simple Living Things. An hour later, I was fooling around with such complicated items as the Junior Bicalibrator, which measured everything from blood pressure to hemoglobin content, and the Jiffy Vitalizer, which was actually supposed to put life in your creation, providing you had followed instructions carefully. At 8 o'clock, I went out to supper with the idea of getting a little drunk. I did. At 9:45, I came back and made my first simple living thing.
Here, boy. Here, boy. Maybe you aren't a boy. Let's see. According to the book, you are a rubicular oyster hog. Not much to look at, but I made you. Me, Sam Weber, attorney at law. I have created life. Hey, come back here. Come back. Here, boy. Here, boy. Here, boy. Hey.
It was no use. My rubicular oyster hog, which was a cross between a field mouse and an oyster, had run out under the door and into the world. Next morning in the office, I turned to Chapter 2, Duplicating Babies and Small Humans.
Assemble your mannequin, setting all molds to the indicated calibrations. To disassemble a model, use the disassemblator provided with the set. If you cannot destroy your creation, the law requires you to call the census keeper for your oblong.
Good morning, Sam. Here's that memo on Rosenthal versus Rosenthal. Also a letter for you. Shall I read it?
Please.
Dear Mr. Weber, there is no firm at Blunt City bearing the name of Build-A-Man, nor do we have any thoroughfare called Diagonal. Sincerely yours, Thomas Plantagenet, Mayor.
Well, that's that.
Oh, by the way, your client was here again this morning, the ghoulish one.
What'd you tell him?
I said you'd be in later.
Thanks.
Will that be all, Sam?
Yes. No. Are you doing anything New Year's Eve?
Sam, I'm disappointed in you.
What did I do?
You haven't even noticed.
Noticed what?
The ring, silly. Third finger, left hand.
What?
Lou gave it to me.
Well, Lou has plenty of zip. I'm sure you'll be very happy zipping around with each other.
Oh, Sam.
What's the matter?
I don't know. I'm so confused.
Hey, listen, what's going on in here?
Tina just told me the good news about your engagement. She's crying with happiness.
Oh, is that right, honey? Well, no hard feelings, Sam. It's just that the best man got the girl. You understand how it is. Oh, by the way, we're having a little celebration at Sigali's tonight. Drop around and we'll live it up a little, huh?
I went home feeling like a man who had been stuffed into a washing machine with the dial set at rinse dry. I was a failure. My job was a bust. My girl was going to marry a football player. I'd been playing God with a chemistry set from some crazy futuristic world. And the bill collectors were hot on my heels.
Why not? Think of it. A Sam Weber without all the psychological problems you've got. A dynamic, uninhibited Sam who could win a girl like Tina by sheer magnetism. Then when it was all over, we just take the old disassemblator and presto. And I can do it, too. Chromosome content check. Well, here goes. It's moving. Holy mackerel. It's alive. It's sitting up.
Whoa! Hey, I feel great.
Take it easy. Do you know who you are?
Don't give me that take it easy routine. Of course I know who I am. I have all the thoughts you ever had up until the point I was vitalized. My brain is an exact duplicate of yours, except that I'm not all blocked up psychologically. Oh, by the way, since we both have the same name, it'll simplify things if I call you Weber. I'll be Sam.
Look here. I'll make the decisions.
How would you like a good punch in the nose?
Is that any way to talk to your own parent? I did create you, you know.
And don't think I don't appreciate it, Weber, old man. But let's get one thing straight. I live my life and you live yours. Got that?
Who pays the rent?
You do. For a while, anyway. I haven't decided whether or not I want to stay in the law business.
The law business?
It'd be a shame to waste all that good training, though. We went to Harvard, didn't we? On the other hand, I want to spread out a little. Tina's the kind of girl to whom money is very important.
Tina?
What'd you expect? We're not quite the same, you and I. I've got zip.
Don't use that word.
Sorry. Now, how about some dinner? I'm starved.
We'll have to go out.
I'll need some clothes.
Sorry, I only have this one suit.
Fine, you can lend it to me.
But what about me?
I'll bring you a sandwich after I come back from Segali's.
Segali's?
You haven't forgotten, have you, Weber? We're invited to the celebration, Tina and Lou White. Only it wouldn't look quite right if we both showed up. So I'll tell you all about it. Now, come on, off with the suit. And no nonsense.
Another drink, Mr. Ojak. Come on.
Thank you, Lou.
Is everybody happy? Oh, Tina, honey, you having yourself a little old time?
Well. The happy couple.
Sam.
Good evening, cats. Everybody's lit up like a Christmas tree, huh?
Well, Sam, are you in the bag?
Never touch the stuff, Lou, my boy. Never touch it.
Hey, what's gotten into you, Weber? You seem different somehow.
Well, I'll tell you. Ever since I had that talk with Mr. Ojak about myself... Oh, you remember, don't you, Mr. Ojak?
Why, yes.
You made me realize, Mr. Ojak, that I had a whole reservoir of untapped zip. And that's all it took, just like that. I'm a changed man.
I don't believe it. It's an act. Why, you're nothing but a cream puff, and you always will be.
Mr. Ojak, I think he owes me an apology for that.
I should think so.
All right, all-American boy, make with the apologies.
Apologize? Why, for 2 cents, I don't...
Folks, would you excuse Mr. White and myself for a few minutes? Coming, Mr. White.
I'll be right back, honey.
Okay, big boy, you've taken enough punishment.
Lou, don't kill him. He did... Oh, dear.
He'll be all right in a little while, baby.
Did you? I mean... Oh, Sam.
Tina.
We really shouldn't be... kissing like this.
Well, it's what you've always wanted, isn't it? Well, isn't it?
Oh, Sam.
By this time, he's probably kissing her. And there's nothing you can do about it, Weber, old man. Nothing. Hey, wait a minute. Where's that book of instructions? To disassemble a Build-A-Man model, merely focus the ray of the disassemblator device and press lever X.
Tatina, my Tatina, da-da-da-dee,
So you're finally home. I'm
My
starved.
boy, you are looking at a man who in one fell swoop has got himself a raise, a promotion, and a wife. At least she'll be my wife tomorrow.
Who?
Tina, of course. Who have we wanted so desperately all these years?
I don't believe it.
It's true. I had to put on quite a show, but all around it was a real success. Mr. Ojak was so impressed, he called me aside and said he was going to give me a crack at some criminal cases, and if I made the grade, who knows, I may even accept a partnership.
And what happens to me? I suppose I sit in this room with no clothes for the rest of my life.
Oh, you'll be well taken care of, Weber.
You've got it all figured out, haven't you?
That's about it.
Only you neglected to consider one thing.
Oh, what's that?
This.
Oh, come on, put that down.
I'm going to melt you down like a Welsh rabbit.
Weber, you can't do that. It's murder. It's like killing your own son.
Take off my suit, you phony. You won't be needing it again.
You're going through with it, huh?
I am.
All right. And here's your jacket.
Oh, my arm.
Yeah, now, you give me that thing. Give it to me.
Oh.
That's better. Now we'll fix this little item so it can't do any damage. You see, Weber, you don't have the guts to stand up against the man you might have been.
What's that sound?
Somebody's coming up the stairs. Listen. Take a peek through the keyhole, Weber.
Holy jumping. It's him.
Whom?
He's burning it. He's burning a hole right through the door.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Who are you?
I'm the census keeper for the 24th Oblong. You see, your Build-A-Man set was intended for one of the Weber children who's on a field trip in this Oblong 200 years from now. Because of an unfortunate time warp, the set was delivered here accidentally.
You mean this set came here from 200 years from now?
Precisely. Time, as with all things, is relative. We shall have to recover the set, of course, and adjust any discrepancies it has caused. Meanwhile, the problem is, which of you gentlemen is the original Sam Weber?
I am. Listen.
Liar.
Difficulties. Why can't I ever have a simple case like the doublet conduplication?
Now, look here, Mr. Census Keeper. The duplicate will obviously be
less stable and more emotionally unbalanced. Certainly a man of your qualifications can decide which of us is the more valid member of society, which of us will conform more readily to the standards.
Naturally. I observe that one of you is naked. That, of course...
Wait a minute.
And you seem to be trembling, whereas this gentleman seems quite calm.
Hold it. You're making a mistake.
I hardly think so.
Stay away from him.
Do not struggle.
Help, please, you're...
Mr. Weber.
Yes?
It would be better if you didn't watch.
Of course.
You understand, it's not the gift of the Build-A-Man set we're afraid of letting you have. It's the principle involved. You people just aren't ready to play God. You understand, of course?
Perfectly. Well, that's my story. Within 10 seconds, the old Sam Weber had been completely dismantled and packed into the box. Tina and I were married, as you know, and I went on to become a full partner in the firm of Ojak, Somerset, and Weber. Oh, and by the way, Tina and I have been doing quite successfully what the old Sam Weber and his Build-A-Man set made such a mess of. We have 1, 2, 3 little conuplications. Sam Jr., age 4, Samantha, age 3, and Samina, age 2 months. Good night.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you Child's Play by William Tenn, adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were Bill Zuckert as the truck driver, John Gibson as Sam, Grant Richards as his alter ego, Peggy Lobbin was Tina, Ted Osborne played Mr. Ojak, Bob Hastings played Lou, and Guy Rep was the man from the Census Bureau. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was an NBC Radio Network production.
Hollywood, California. That may seem a strange place to learn anything about the Magic Island, but Hollywood is the scene of our story for today. The Euclidean Girl submarine commander has landed her rocket plane safely on Lake Hollywood in a fog. The plane was allowed to sink slightly below the surface, so it might not be discovered until our friends want it again. Mrs. Gregory's home is now a busy place, with plans being rushed for the expedition to capture Euclidia. However, it looks as if things are not going any too well. We see Captain Tex Bradford, Mrs. Gregory, and their right-hand man, Johnson, talking in the Gregory home. They're in the small room which Captain Bradford uses as his chemical laboratory.
But, Tex, it simply won't do any good.
Even if it looks that way, we've got to keep trying.
I agree with the captain, Mrs. Gregory. We must compound as much of the captain's formula as possible in a short space of time, then continue our plans to return to Euclidia.
But, Johnson, what good will that do? Elaine has admitted that the submarine locks on that underwater city can't possibly stay magnetized more than a day or two at the most. Now, I've chartered the fastest private steamer on the West Coast, but it will take a full week to arrive at the location of the Magic Island.
I know all that, Pat, and I may be wasting my time. But we can't hope to take that place over with anything but this formula. And I've made up a lot of it.
Is it ready now, Tex?
Yes, there's enough of this liquid ready to destroy every inch of Euclidia.
Well, just how are you going to use it, Captain?
We haven't had a chance to explain it to you, Johnson. But there's a small steel room, a sort of an airlock, way up inside one edge of the crater of that old volcano. If we release this formula there, it will eat its way down into the underwater city and promptly flood the whole place.
However, Johnson, don't think that we intend to shut all of those people up in that place and flood them. I've chartered this steamer to take them all off that location.
Well, of course you don't want to harm them if you can help it. And it would be too bad if all of those great scientific minds were lost to the world. But what are you going to do with them? You can't just bring them back and turn them loose in this country.
We don't intend to. Pat has been out calling on some of her influential friends. And I believe raised enough money to put over a very ambitious plan. Is that right, Pat?
Yes, Tex. I had no trouble at all raising the money. We've decided to take over the buildings and grounds of a little private college near here. The property was for sale, and we really got it at a very reasonable figure. Now, I propose to establish those Euclideans on that property, under constant guard, of course, and let them work on their inventions.
See, that's a great idea, Mrs. Gregory. Their knowledge can be used for benefit to the world, without the danger of their using their power in the wrong direction.
Yes, that's my idea.
I hope it works out all right.
Well, now, as I understand it, this girl submarine commander who brought you home, she left the Euclidean submarine locks magnetized.
Yes, and while they stay that way, the Euclideans are helpless.
But just how long will the magnetism remain effective?
That's our trouble. Elaine, the girl commander, said that we couldn't hope for more than 24 hours.
It will take a week at least to get down there with a steamer large enough to take them all off.
And there are over 250 Euclideans.
Yes, and if we don't have something ready to replace that magnetism, Euclidia will be empty in 24 hours. G-47 will lead his men out of there. They'll establish another colony at some other place.
Well, if I didn't know you so well, I'd say it was hopeless. But I know that you haven't worked all night compounding this formula for nothing.
You're right, I haven't.
But, Tex, I can't see where we have the slightest chance to use that formula.
Well, that girl commander will be here in a few minutes. She has an idea. Must be a wild one, as there's only time for a wild one to help us any. But whatever it is, she says it will work, and I'm going to listen to it.
Does she know how to find this room?
I told her we'd meet her in the living room. Got to be back any minute now.
I told them to hurry. But Jerry and Joan may be having trouble with her.
Trouble? Well, if she's not trustworthy, why did you let Jerry and Joan go out with her?
Not that sort of trouble, Johnson. Jerry and Joan are taking Elaine on her first visit to a real store. And they may have trouble getting her out of there.
Well, I wouldn't call that very serious.
It wouldn't be if we had any time to spare. But as it is, it can be mighty serious if that girl doesn't get back here soon with her idea.
Is it safe to leave your formula here while we go into the living room?
Oh, perfectly safe.
Well, I'll stay here and watch if you want me to.
Well, never mind. You'd better be with us when Elaine outlines her idea.
Yes, there may be a part in it for you.
Well, I certainly hope so. It's not very exciting to sit at home with a radio set and let you have all the experiences.
Maybe not, Johnson. But you've saved us a couple of times by that very same sitting at home. Who's there?
It's Jerry.
Okay, Jerry, just a minute.
Oh, that means they're safely home.
Come on in, kid.
Gee, what goes on? You got this place all locked up.
Well, we just finished my, wait a minute. Joan and the girl commander with you?
Well, we came back together. They're waiting in the living room.
Did you have any trouble getting Elaine out of the stores?
She was walking in her sleep.
Why, Jerry,
Sorry,
what
Pat, but I'll have to interrupt this now. Let's get on with this idea. Time is precious now.
Oh, of course, Tex. Come on, Jerry. You and I'll go into the living room. Tex and Johnson will follow as soon as they lock up the laboratory.
And while you're there, make sure we're alone.
I will. I'll send the servants away on some errands.
Oh, Joan's already done that, Mrs. Gregory.
Joan has?
Yes. She figured you might want some privacy, so she thought up a lot of silly things for them to do, and they started doing them.
Well, good for Joan. She'll soon be able to manage this home as well as I do.
Were you speaking of me, Mother?
Yes, Joan, dear. Jerry tells me you've guaranteed our privacy for a while.
I thought it advisable. Elaine has told me something of her plan, and it seemed wise to discuss it where we could not be overheard.
I did advise Joan to exercise all caution. This plan of mine has elements of danger in it.
Oh, you're all too nervous about this thing. There's no more Euclideans in Hollywood.
You do not know that.
No, Jerry. We know very little about the Euclideans.
It is as well to use care. Where is Captain Bradford?
Oh, he'll be here in a minute or two. He's with Johnson, locking up the laboratory. And while we're waiting for them, tell me something about your visit to the stores.
It was very exciting.
Boy, it must have been. All you did was stand around in front of counters and hold a lot of cloth and ribbons in your hands.
It was the first time I have ever felt such fabric.
Of course, Elaine. I can understand how you felt.
Elaine would not purchase anything, Mother. I tried to persuade her to bring home a dress or a coat or something for herself, but she refused.
Why was that, Elaine?
Oh, she figured that she didn't want to spend any of your money, and Joan and I couldn't talk her out of it.
I hope you will understand my position, Mrs. Gregory. You are more than kind in giving me the freedom of your lovely home. I should prefer to wait until our mission is accomplished. Then I may feel that I have rendered some little service to you.
Mother, I have tried to reason with Elaine, but it is without effect. She feels that she must earn your money before she can accept any of it.
I am sorry if that is not correct for your world.
Well, it's correct for anybody's world. But I never heard of anybody worrying so much about taking money before.
It is unusual, Jerry, but Elaine is right. And I appreciate how she feels. We'll fix that later.
Come right on in, Johnson. I see everybody's here. We'll get right down to business.
If you'll sit over here, Johnson.
Thank you.
I'll sit here by the door and leave it open. All right, Elaine? What's the idea?
Your formula is complete.
Ready to go.
Is it possible to suspend your containers in the water?
Sure, if the depth isn't too great. The containers are naturally made of glass, so that they may be broken and allow the halves of the formula to run together.
Well, yeah, but that stuff won't be much good underwater. That is, it would get too weak to do any good.
That's right, Jerry. The only way it could be used underwater would be to suspend it against some metallic substance it would eat through before dilution became too great.
That is my idea. If my calculations are correct, we have less than 6 hours of safety. At any time after that, the Euclideans may succeed in freeing those submarine locks of the magnetism I imposed.
6 hours? Why, we can't get down there in less than 6 days.
But wait until you hear Elaine's plan, Mother.
Well, let's have it, Elaine. 6 hours sounds mighty short to me.
You and I will return to Euclidia at once in the rocket plane, Captain Bradford.
Hey, what about the rest of us?
You will follow in the boat which is to return the Euclideans to this country.
Oh, I hate to think of you running into danger while we sit safely on a big boat.
Well, if Elaine has it figured out, let's have it all. There must be some reason for just 2 of us going.
There is, a good and sufficient reason. In the first place, the rocket plane was badly overloaded coming up here, and the fuel is running low. With only 2 of us aboard, we have a chance to reach the location of Euclidia.
That sounds reasonable.
Sounds dangerous, too, if you think you've only got a chance to land there.
I don't like that.
I would prefer to accompany them, Mother, but I believe Elaine knows best.
Well, go on, Elaine. What's your plan?
You and I will go at once, Captain. We will have fuel enough to reach there, I think, and provisions for at least a week. All we have to do is suspend containers of your formula against the submarine locks, and on top of the escape lock we used, and float there on the surface until the boat arrives.
You know, I could be a lot of help if I went along.
Possibly. And your weight might be the deciding factor if we run out of fuel short of our goal.
But, Elaine, suppose you do run out of fuel anyway and have to land before you reach Euclidia.
We'll just land on the course. You'll follow with the boat, float around there until you come down and pick us up. The Euclideans will escape, but we can't help that.
I think their escape is not as serious as what they would do to you if they found you floating helplessly on the water.
Gee, I never thought of that.
I did, Jerry, and it isn't a pleasant thought.
We have no alternative if we ever hope to capture those scientists.
That's right, Elaine. If they get away from us this time, they'll destroy that city as they leave and move to some other out-of-the-way place and start another colony.
In addition to which they will do immeasurable harm in this world.
Yes, their motives for revenge would lead them into almost anything.
Well, it looks like Elaine's plan is the only one. But I wish I could go along.
So do I, Jerry. I've stayed at home long enough through all of this excitement.
Sorry, Johnson, but we'll have to leave you again. This time, however, you'll have Mrs. Gregory, Jerry, and Joan to take care of. And you'll be in charge of the rescue boat.
Well, that'll help some.
And we will make the trip in our boat as rapidly as possible.
I'll say we will.
How long will it take to raise that plane of yours, Elaine?
Only a matter of moments. I will make a short dive under the water and turn on the exposed helium valve. The shell will be reinflated, and the ship will rise rapidly.
But it's broad daylight. We'll be seen at Lake Hollywood.
I know it, but there isn't a thing in the world we can do about it. Elaine says we haven't more than 6 hours.
I am sure the Euclideans will be free shortly after that time.
And it will take us a little over 4 hours to fly down there. Let's go.
Well, now, what do we do?
You get the formula, all of it except one set of containers, which you can bring on the boat with you.
Can I do anything, Captain?
Help Johnson load that stuff in the car and keep your eyes open in the driveway.
Aye, aye, sir. Come on, Johnson.
Right with you, Jerry.
What can I do, Ted?
You and Joan get some warm clothes ready for Elaine. We're going to need them, for we've got a lot of diving to do.
I wish I might go with you, Captain.
I know that, Joan. You and Jerry's been a big help plenty of times, but I'll have to go this time without you.
You'll keep in touch with us, won't you, Tex?
Why, sure. The minute we land at Euclidia, we'll radio you. And you'd better shove off with that boat the minute we leave.
I'll call the crew to stand by right now. They're all waiting for the call.
Well, it looks like this is our last try at capturing G-47. And with a little luck, we'll make it.
One of the most peaceful spots in the Hollywood Hills is that surrounding Lake Hollywood. Yet at this minute, there is a fierce activity on the shore of the lake, which would certainly make a stranger think some weird country was landing machines of war in our very midst. The Euclidean rocket plane, which brought the Gregory party of 7 and the girl submarine commander safely back to Los Angeles, has been refloated on the surface of the lake. Preparations are underway for an immediate takeoff. Captain Tex Bradford and Elaine, the girl Euclidean commander, are going to make a dash back to Euclidia. Jerry Hall and Joan Gregory are helping them with their last-minute plans.
Are you sure you've got everything, Tex?
Everything we have time to worry about.
The plane does not seem to be buoyant enough to rise from the water.
I was wondering about that, Joan.
Well, how about it, Elaine?
I am nearly ready, Captain Bradford. The task of driving the water from the outer shell has been slower than usual, due to the necessity of watching the rise closely. In flooding and then re-raising the ship, all from the outside, as we have done this time, it must be done slowly, as the plane could easily leap from the water and float beyond our reach if I admitted too much helium.
Well, golly whiskers. Who ever heard of a leaping plane?
This rocket ship would do exactly that, Jerry.
Yeah, I guess it would.
That should be sufficient gas. Will you watch the stern, Captain Bradford?
Right, Elaine. It's coming up pretty fast.
That will be all.
This thing is sure ready to jump into the air now.
And we're about ready to jump with it.
Captain Bradford.
Yes, Joan?
I believe we are observed.
Huh? Where?
On that highway above us.
Yes, we are, and that means we'd better get out of here quick. We don't want to answer any questions right now.
The plane is ready. We can take off now in a matter of 100 seconds.
Well, why so long?
That much time will be required to distribute the first charge of fuel to the gas jet.
Okay, Elaine, turn them on. That car's stopping up there, and a couple of mighty businesslike fellows are pouring out of it.
The tanks are now charging.
Yeah, and these two fellows from the car are charging, too.
Oh, Jerry, we are being attacked.
Attacked? What do you mean, attacked?
One of those men is carrying a weapon in a black case.
A weapon? Yeah, it's a weapon, all right, Joan, but it isn't very dangerous, except for getting our pictures in the paper.
Well, that's bad enough right now.
Yes, it is at that.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. You and the skipper pile in and shove off. Joan and I'll get our pictures taken and keep these boys away from them.
Excellent plan, Jerry. Come, Captain.
Right. Go ahead, Elaine. We'll give the last-minute instructions to the kids here.
Hurry, Captain. Those men are nearly upon us.
You two let them question you all you want to. But don't tell them who you are. Don't give them any information. We've got to have 4 hours to get back to Euclidia before anyone finds out about it.
Hey, they'll get the license number of Mrs. Gregory's car.
No, they won't. I took the plates off, and the registration slip is at the house.
Well, we're liable to get caught by the cops on the way back to the house.
We will be arrested?
Possibly. They have a habit of arresting people without license numbers or registration slips. But just to make it sure, Jerry, you might go a little too fast at the wrong time.
Oh, I got it.
Remind them that they are not to attempt to contact us by radio until we call them.
Why is that, Captain?
We don't want those Euclideans to know we're on our way. It might make them take chances getting out of that underwater city before we can bottle them up.
I got you. Better shove off, Tex. Here they come.
Right. Ready, Elaine?
Ready.
So long, kids.
Good luck, Tex.
Goodbye, Captain and Elaine.
Remember, Joan, we don't know what's happening.
I couldn't even get set for a picture of that thing.
You know best, Jerry. This is a situation entirely strange to me.
Me too, but I think I'm going to like it.
Hey, you two kids, what's going on here? Who was that just took off? And where did that flying submarine come from?
How should I know?
I never saw anything leave so fast but last week's pay. That thing was out of sight before I could get a decent picture of it.
Why should you want a picture of it?
What do you think?
Jerry, what do I think?
You think it's none of his business?
I think it's none of your business.
Say, what is this?
We don't know.
You just saw that flying dill pickle jump off the briny deep, didn't you?
We didn't see anything, did we, Joan?
No, Jerry.
Wait a minute. I'm beginning to get an idea. Move around where the light's better. I'll try to get you a picture of it so you can prove it to the editor.
Save the comedy. I've got an idea who these two are.
So have I. They're Jack and Jill. They just come down the hill to fill their little pails of water.
Oh, no, we're not.
You bet you're not. You're Jerry Hall and Joan Gregory.
Oh, Jerry.
Hold it.
You're right, Pete.
Sure, I'm right. These are the two kids who just got back from the Magic Island.
Why, that thing was blown up by a volcano weeks ago.
Oh, no, it wasn't. I had a hunch that volcano story was a phony.
Well, go right ahead and have all the hunches you want. We won't tell you a thing.
You're Joan Gregory, aren't you? The little girl who was lost 14 years on that island.
I do not understand you.
You're talking to yourself, Pete.
Maybe, but I'll bet you two understand this. Captain Tex Bradford just took off from this lake in some sort of a wild flying contraption. He's on his way back to that screwy place you call the Magic Island. He was in a hurry. He didn't want anyone to know what he was doing. That's all the story I need. Come on, Fuzzy.
Wait till I take a couple of shots of these two.
Okay, but make it snappy. This is one story that'll look better without any of your comic strips.
You never wrote a story that could get along without my pictures.
One's enough. Come on.
Come on, Joan. We've got business.
Where, Jerry?
I'll tell you after we get going.
Don't hurry, you two. You can read this story when you get back home if you take your time.
Jerry, that man will ruin everything.
He might, if his story got out in time.
Oh, but nothing can prevent that.
Well, I've got other ideas. Just get in your mother's car as fast as you can.
But they are going to their own car. They will have that story all over the city in a few minutes.
Maybe and maybe not. Now, hurry up and get into the car and don't stop to argue.
Very well, Jerry.
Well, I haven't been up and on this road for a couple of years, but if they haven't changed it any, we're all right.
Those men are hurrying to their car, too, Jerry. They will reach the highway before we do.
Maybe not. You watch them and tell me which way they go, and I'll see how quickly I can get us out of this.
Jerry, these curves are dangerous.
Nothing is dangerous to you, Euclidia. Now, take it easy.
Well, I will try.
Just let me drive this car and keep your eyes on those two in the other car.
They are going up a winding drive, almost opposite to the direction we have taken.
Did they turn to their right as they started up the hill?
Yes, they did.
Swag. Hang on tight, Joan. We'll see if this car of your mother's is as good as it looks.
Jerry, please be careful.
We're still on the road.
But you go so fast around those turns.
Those other fellows are going pretty near as fast, only they've got farther to go. Now, if I can beat them to the top of this hill, we're all right.
But what good will that do?
You'll see when we get there. I mean, if we get there.
You are being very foolish, Jerry.
Sure I am. But Captain Bradford and Elaine are flying 1,000 miles an hour, trying to get to Euclidia before G47 knows they're coming. And if these men get that story to their newspapers, it'll be on the radio in half an hour, and G47 will know all about it.
I know that, Jerry. But how can you prevent it?
Well, just give me a few seconds to get around this next turn on the top of this hill, and I'll tell you.
Oh, Jerry, did you not see that notice at the top of this drive?
Oh, sure I saw it.
But you are going down a one-way drive. It is wrong to go down this way.
Oh, I know it. And I'm going to stop going, right in that narrow place just ahead of us. Hang on while I skid this car straight across the road.
But that will block the road.
I hope you're right, Joan. Hang on tight. Well, we're here.
Yes, Jerry, we are here. And we are helplessly stopped. It will not be possible to move this car now. There is no room to go forward or backward.
Uh-huh. And if you noticed it, it's going to be mighty hard for another car to get around us, too.
That does not better our position.
Maybe not, but it won't hurt Captain Bradford's position any.
Jerry, you are going to compel that car to stop.
You bet I am. Here they come now. And look at their faces.
They have seen us.
Sure they have. And do they look mad?
But what will they do to us?
Nothing. I had an accident with a car. It got stuck across the road. And if that keeps a couple of wild men from running to their papers with our story, well, I can't help it.
Hey, get that thing out of the way.
They are very angry, Jerry.
I had an idea they might be.
Don't you know this is a one-way road?
Never heard of it.
Jerry, could they not back their car down and go around the other way?
Well, that's what I was afraid of. They'd do. But luck's on our side now. There's another car coming up behind.
And the people in that other car will be angry also.
Oh, guess they will. But if enough cars pile up on this road, we'll manage to keep our friends here for a while.
Hey, you two lunkheads, what's the idea?
Sorry, mister. I guess I started down the wrong road.
You know, blame well you did.
Well, you can see where I skidded. Trying to turn it around and get out of your way.
I can see where you skidded all right, but those tire tracks don't say anything about trying to get out of our way.
Looks more like you deliberately skidded your car across this road to block it.
Oh, no, that's against the law. I wouldn't do anything like that.
Oh, I'll bet you wouldn't.
There is another car down there now, Jerry.
Yeah. Well, why don't you fellows get your car out of the way so these boys can get past?
Why, you young... If I wouldn't like to wring your neck.
Huh? Go ahead.
No, I'll save the pleasure. Just now I want you to get this car out of here.
Well, I can't do that. You know I can't.
You going to leave it here all night?
Oh, no. I'm going to walk to Hollywood and telephone the garage to come and get it with a wrecking truck. Well, they can drag it around on the road.
And I suppose the cars that will pile up here on this hill can just pile up and exercise their horns while you and the girlfriend stroll down to Hollywood.
Oh, that's right.
Jerry, is this not a police officer coming?
Sounds like it.
Looks like it, too. And when he gets here, you move out of the way.
Oh, I don't think he can pull this car out with that motorcycle.
Oh, Jerry, what will the officer do to us?
I hope he takes us to jail. If he does, we can't phone a garage to come after this car, and our nice friends here can wait a while longer.
You're going to get plenty of action, Jerry, my boy, and you're going to get it right now.
The program you are about to hear is largely fiction, science fiction. We make no guarantees, however, how long it will remain fiction.
Exploring tomorrow. And now, here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, John Campbell, Jr.
The philosophers down the ages have hassled a long time and with many words about the good, the true, and the beautiful. The true, well, that can be defined pretty objectively. But there's a peculiar thing about beautiful. What is beauty? And in whose terms? Makes it difficult.
With the story of The Adventure of the Beauty Queen, which stars Miss Charlotte Sheffield, Miss United States of 1958.
Beauty is a much more complicated problem than the question of truth, actually. A truth is an eternal thing. If it's true, it's true, and that's that. But beauty is appropriate. It changes as the situations change. It changes with time. I wonder how our own concepts of beauty, that is, our human race's concepts of beauty, will change as time goes by. Let's suppose that a famous young woman of our time, Miss United States, if you like, is awakened in her sleep by an alien presence, a strange force she feels but cannot see. It's something she knows is there.
Who are you?
You know I am here.
Yes.
Can you see me?
No.
Nor can I see you. But I am conscious I am with you.
True, yes, of course.
No, it's real.
Who are you?
A man who in your terms belongs to the distant future. I am unborn in the way you think of it. And to me, you have been dead over 1,000 years. Were I back in my own orbit.
Someone's playing a joke.
No. This is no joke. But please, don't be afraid. I mean no harm.
You're dead 1,000 years. Whoever you are, what are you talking about?
Listen to me. Try to understand. I belong to a race of scientists. In simple words you can understand, we have a device which enables us to project ourselves into the past. You belong to the past. Do you understand?
Yes.
The device has made me conscious of you for a long time. I have used it to explore the past, and in these explorations, I have searched for the highest form of human beauty.
How do you know whether or not I'm beautiful if you can't see me?
The device tells me you're beautiful. Beauty, real beauty, is a force that transmits itself, that can be picked up by a form of radar. Please understand, I'm only using terms I think you can follow. In my own orbit, I would not even talk to a child in such simple terms.
Go away. Please go away.
I can't. I'm in love with you.
What?
In love with you.
In love?
Yes. Very much. Is it funny?
Oh, yes.
I don't think it is.
But it is.
Do women of your time always laugh at a man's love?
Oh, don't be silly. I wasn't laughing at you.
Well, then at what?
I just thought it was very funny. The idea of your being in love with a blip on a radar screen. After all, that's about what I am to you, isn't it?
Oh, no.
It must be.
No. The radar screen, as you call it, simply picked you up, pointed you out to us.
Us?
My associates and I.
Oh.
I felt very strongly drawn to you. I convinced my associates to conduct further experiments, actual contact with someone out of the past. You. I had to know you. I had to come into orbit with you.
Look, don't you think this joke has gone far enough?
Well, I told you this is not a joke.
Of course it is.
Well, you know better.
Oh, don't you suppose I know what's going on? Well, I should have thought of it a long time ago.
What is going on?
Why, it's very simple. Someone installed a radio pickup in this room. And you're talking to me through a microphone.
Talking to you?
You are, aren't you?
Oh, no.
What do you mean, no?
I'm not talking to you in the way you think I am. I'm projecting to you.
Oh, please stop this.
But it's not your voice I hear. I'm receiving impulses from you, not actual words. The device I mentioned interprets the nature of your impulses, translates them into my language. It does the same for you.
It's true. I don't hear your voice. Not as a sound, I mean.
You begin to realize.
Please stop.
No, don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. You must be insane to say that. I'm scared out of my life. I want to scream. I'm afraid to. I'm not even sure I'm awake. I'm not even sure I'm alive.
You're alive. In your century. Now, understand what I'm telling you. In a moment, you'll be drawn out of your orbit, projected into the future, into my orbit. I want to see you. I want to see if you're as beautiful as your impulses say you are. If you are, I'm afraid I'll keep you where I am in the future.
No, I don't believe any of it. You're mad. Whoever you are, you're quite insane.
Are you receiving me?
Yes.
Don't be afraid. You're in limbo, on your way into my orbit. Exploring Tomorrow continues in just a moment.
All of us, as American citizens, believe in our inherent liberties and freedoms, such as the freedom of the individual to choose and elect his own national representatives. It has been said that there is only one ruling class in America, the people themselves, who, through their vote, have established the law of our land. The real importance of this freedom depends on our accepting the responsibility not only to know what we are voting for or against, but also to choose our leaders for the best interests of the nation. So, accept your responsibility and ensure your freedom.
Of all things men have discussed and considered today, time is the one of which we know least. We know how to travel in space, and recent physical work has indicated that actually things can travel backwards as well as forwards in time, but we know nothing about it. And one of the things that would be strange on this, how long does it take to travel through time? When you are traveling through time itself, how long does it take to go from now to then? How long was Miss United States in that limbo before she was there?
I'm talking to you. I'm projecting to you. Are you receiving me?
Yes.
Are you afraid?
A little.
Not as much as you thought you'd be.
No.
Have you any idea of where you are?
I'm in a room. That's all I know.
I'm in the next one. We're on the 500th floor of the Institute of Technical Research in the city of Columbia. In your century, I believe you called it Washington.
Washington?
You understand, this is America.
I'm glad to hear that, at least.
Yes, I can see it relieves you.
You can see me?
Very clearly.
And am I?
Are you what?
Well, what you expected me to be.
To some extent.
Do you find me unattractive?
Alien.
Alien?
Different.
Yes, I know the meaning of the word.
At first, I was conscious of a sense of shock when I first saw you.
At least you're frank.
Well, I'm a scientist.
Do you find me ugly?
I said alien. Of course, I knew you would be. I didn't expect you to measure up physically to our standards. The human form has improved a great deal since your century.
But why? Was there a reason?
Man-made reasons.
Can you tell me?
Well, it began with interplanetary wars conducted by the nations of the world. The struggle to build empires in outer space on other planets.
When was this?
Oh, not in your century. You saw only the first feeble attempts to explore space.
Yes, I suppose our attempts are feeble.
Well, the interplanetary wars did a great deal of destruction, particularly on this planet. Precious documents, books, records were lost. But there was another result. The atmosphere of the Earth became charged with radioactive matter. For a while, it looked as though the human race had become extinct, but it didn't. The human body acclimated itself to new atmospheric conditions and flourished again. But by that time, our physical form had changed. It changed for the better. And today...
Go on.
Well, today, the human form is the most beautiful creation has ever seen.
And by your standards, I am something of a shock to you.
Your physical form was, at first, yes.
Am I very different from the women here?
Very different.
To you, they're beautiful.
They are beautiful.
Would I find them attractive?
I don't think so.
I might.
Oh, no.
Why not? If they're so beautiful, I mean.
Well, your conception of beauty is not ours.
I understand that, but...
But what?
I don't know. I was going to say that beauty is beauty, but that wouldn't make any sense.
No, the concept of beauty is what matters.
But you said beauty is a force. It radiates.
The inner beauty radiates.
I understand that, too.
Well, how do you think of the universe?
Oh, I think I associate it with God. Identify it with the divine mind.
I'm surprised.
The universe is a reflection of God.
Now I begin to understand why, in spite of your physical form, your beauty reached me. And it has nothing to do with your looks.
I wouldn't be very gracious if I didn't say thank you.
I'm going to keep you here, you know, if I can.
I don't think you quite mean that.
I mean it in every sense. I want you now to remember what I've said about the change for the better in human form. I'm going to open the door to your room and come in. Now, please keep in mind that I do not look as the men of your century looked, but also remember that here I'm supposed to be a reasonably good-looking fellow.
I would like to see you.
Well, you will in the next few seconds.
That which is beautiful and befitting, appropriate, depends on the environment it's in. The future people have had to undergo some rather complete changes to meet the environment that, shall we say, we, their ancestors, had imposed on them. A little too much radioactivity. And that which was beautiful is no longer befitting. The thing that is now befitting, we might not think of as particularly beautiful.
Is it so bad?
I'm sorry.
I should not have exposed myself to the shock you feel, to the revulsion you feel at the sight of me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I should have known.
Forgive me. I just can't look at you for a moment. I have to adjust.
There's a window behind you. You can look out.
Oh, thank you. Please, don't resent me.
No, I was just wondering if you have any idea how incredible to me your revulsion is.
Yes, I think I have an idea.
You must overlook what sounds like vanity, but I have to repeat what I told you before. I'm supposed to be more than passably good-looking.
Yes, I understand.
But you can't stand the sight of me.
Give me a moment. Are you looking at me?
Yes.
Does it still hurt you?
No. No, I'm too conscious of your inner beauty.
I'm very grateful.
I'm curious about something.
Yes?
Are you conscious of any of my impulses?
I think so.
Do you find them hostile?
No.
Alien?
No.
Do they cause you any fear?
I don't think so.
Well, forgetting how I appear to your eyes, do you like me?
Yes. Yes, I think you must be a very nice person.
The curious thing is...
Yes?
I was going to say, the curious thing is I'm still in love with you.
You mustn't be.
Perhaps love is a dimension.
I don't know. I'm too confused to think about it.
Or perhaps it's an orbit we enter or leave. I don't know either. It was just a thought.
You can't examine love through a microscope, can you?
Well, it's been exposed to every kind of study for centuries. Even the people of your time knew its reactions to be purely chemical. Of course, your poets didn't agree, but then neither do ours.
Do you have poets?
Oh, yes, we have them. They resist us. They call themselves the last human barrier against science. They refuse to understand what basic science is.
What is it?
Well, isn't it man's eternal craving to find out more about the universe, or the divine mind?
Let me go back.
Go back?
Please.
How can you even want to go back? Look, what do you see through that window? Nothing but beauty. Miles of emerald green fields with cities that sparkle like diamonds rising out of them. Nothing but prosperity. Prosperity and peace. And you want to go back to your miserable century?
To my people. To my own people. I belong with them. I don't belong here.
I'll tell you something. We're being observed, listened to by my associates.
Observed?
Well, the final decision must come from them. I'm as much a part of this experiment as you are, even though it was my idea. Now that we've succeeded in drawing you out of your orbit into ours, I don't think our science will release you. We can learn a great deal from you about the things of your century. Besides, I love you. I want to keep you here.
Please. Please don't touch me. Please don't touch me. Dream. That's all it was. It's all it was. It couldn't have been anything else. It couldn't have been.
There are parts of beauty that are eternal, that are not like the physical that changes, but the beauty of a true and honest personality. This sort of beauty, that will endure. There are things that you can rely on as time goes by. Woman needs man, man must have his mate. On this you can rely. The only thing is, the definition of man and woman will tend to change with the passing of ages. But the fundamental things apply. An honest man and an honest woman. These we need forever.
Join us for a fascinating adventure in Exploring Tomorrow. Heard in our cast tonight were Brett Morrison and the real Miss United States of 1958, Charlotte Sheffield. Script was by John Fleming. Produced and directed by Sanford Marshall here in New York. Guy Wallace speaking.
We pause now for station identification.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman!
Look! Up in the sky!
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman! Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman who can leap tall buildings at a single bound, race a speeding bullet to its target, then steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice
And now to our story. When Bull Raglan, leader of a Northwoods fur smuggling gang, left Jimmy Olsen and Batiste bound hand and foot in a dark cave, his plan was to keep them hidden until he could bargain with Clark Kent, who he thought was a government agent. But unknown even to Bull, the cave was occupied by a full-grown bear hibernating for the winter. Disturbed and angered, the bear attacked Jimmy and Batiste. Meanwhile, Kent, having captured Bull and his assistant Chuck, forced them to go along with him while he followed Batiste's dog sled tracks out of the clearing where the French-Canadian guide had camped. As they neared the cave, Kent heard Jimmy's voice calling for help. Compelled to knock Bull out, Kent left him with Chuck, who had sworn he was going straight, and headed for the cave. As he neared the entrance, he could hear the wild growling of the bear.
Help! Help!
I'm coming, Jimmy.
Good thing it's pitch dark in there.
Come in again. The bear's coming at me.
Jimmy!
Okay, it's fainted.
Now I can handle this as Superman. All right, come on, Grizzly. Launch at me. Come on, that's it. Still up on your feet, eh? Oh, you don't like boxing, do you? Want to wrestle, eh? Get me in a bear hug. Okay, come on. There. Now let's see who can squeeze the hardest. I guess that finishes you. Now, let's see. Jimmy seems all right outside of a few scratches. Oh, but poor Batiste is badly mauled. Gotta get them both back to town as soon as possible. Maybe a matter of life or death for Batiste. That means I'll have to leave Bull and Chuck behind and send someone back for them. Taking a chance, but it can't be helped. All I hope is that Chuck doesn't see me leave the cave as Superman. Well, no time to waste. One under each arm. Out to the entrance. Up! Up! And away!
Ooh, that burns.
Oh, it can't be that bad, Jimmy.
Oh, no? You try putting iodine on open scratches. Isn't that enough, Father Malone?
I think it is, Jimmy. You're a very lucky boy.
Lucky? Call this luck, I never want to have any more of it.
Well, you were lucky that bear didn't swipe you across the face instead of the arm.
And doubly lucky that Mr. Kent arrived when he did.
Oh, by the way, how's Batiste?
Well, we won't know for a day or so. He was badly torn up. But if the wounds don't infect, he'll pull through all right. Well, I must say I hardly expected to see you back here so soon, but I'm glad it turned out as well as it did.
What happened to the two fur smugglers?
The customs men picked them up. Chuck had kept his promise to see that Bull Raglan didn't escape, so they let him go. Father Malone's trying to get him a logging camp job.
And what about Bull?
I suppose he'll go to jail.
Well, he should for what he did to Batiste and me. Gosh, Mr. Kent, I wouldn't be here now if you hadn't killed that bear. I still don't see how you did it.
Oh, I told you I had a knife, Jimmy.
Yeah?
What puzzles me, Kent, is how you managed to get both Jimmy and Batiste back to Montville without a sled.
Well, it was a long hike, I admit.
You mean to say you carried both of them 10 miles?
Well, Father Jimmy doesn't weigh any more than a puff of smoke, and Batiste is light.
It's amazing, Kent. I don't think Paul Bunyan could have done much better.
Oh, who's Paul Bunyan?
Oh, don't you know, Jimmy?
No, Father, I don't. Is he a friend of yours?
Jimmy, I'm surprised at you. Haven't you ever heard of Paul Bunyan?
No.
Why, he was the most famous logger ever to fell timber in the North Woods, Jimmy. And the strongest, too. For they claim he could cut down 400 trees with one swing of his axe.
Oh, I don't believe it. No man could do that.
Well, Paul Bunyan was no ordinary man. They say he owned a saw that was a half a mile long, and that 200 men used to ride on it while he cut down a stand of timber.
Are you trying to kid me, Father Malone?
No, Father's not kidding, Jimmy. Any Northwoods logger can tell you stories about Paul Bunyan. Didn't he own a huge ox, Father?
Oh, that he did, Kent. A big blue ox he called Bay.
That's the one.
It was the strongest ox in the world. And Paul used to feed it 3,000 tons of hay every morning and 5,000 tons of oats at night.
Oh, where did he get all the hay and oats?
I suppose Paul owned a 50,000-acre farm and grew it.
50,000 acres. Paul Bunyan's farm stretched from the northern tip of Minnesota to the southern tip of Michigan. And there's a road running through it that twisted and turned like a corkscrew. So one day, Paul hitched his big blue ox to the Michigan end of the road, and in 10 minutes, Jimmy, that ox pulled the road out straight as a die, and it never had any more curves in it.
Gosh. Talk about Batiste and his tall stories. Well, yours take the cake, Father Malone.
Oh, these aren't my stories, Jimmy. They belong to the logging camps. They're a part of America, just like the stories of Hercules were a part of Greece.
Oh, then they aren't true. Paul Bunyan never existed.
As much as a legend ever exists, Jimmy.
Oh, I see.
When we get back to Metropolis, Jimmy, I'll buy you a book of Paul Bunyan's stories.
Oh, that'll be swell. Say, when are we going back, Mr. Kent? I suppose now that Batiste won't be up and around for a while, our dog sled trip to Canada is over almost before it began.
I could get you another guide, Kent. Not as good as Batiste, but dependable.
No, Father. I think Jimmy and I might just as well go on home. We both had enough excitement to last us a long time. We'll come up next year for our dog sled trip.
Well, don't forget. As a matter of fact, if you let me know in advance, I might be able to arrange to go along with you.
Oh, gosh, I hope you can, Father.
Are you taking tonight's train, Kent?
Yes, Father. That reminds me, Jimmy, you'd better get your clothes packed. We have less than an hour before the train leaves.
Well, what time is it now?
The clock is just about to strike 7.
Okay, I'll be ready in 10 minutes.
Well, Jimmy, hardly seems possible that last night we were up in the North Woods and tonight we're rolling across wheat fields. Jimmy.
Huh? Oh, yes.
Yes, what?
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't listening. I was watching that man across the aisle. Look how his eyes shift, Mr. Kent. Almost like he thought he was being shadowed.
Don't be silly, Jimmy. Here, take this newspaper. Read the funnies and do the crossword puzzle.
Okay. Gosh, Mr. Kent.
Oh, now what?
Look at this picture on the front page of the paper, and then look at that man across the aisle.
Huh? Well, there seems to be a slight resemblance.
Slight? What's the same person? The bald spot in front and the gray hair in back and the bushy eyebrows.
Everyone on the card, I know you're talking about him. Wait a minute, let me see that paper.
Why is this picture there, Mr. Kent? I didn't get a chance to read the caption.
Just a minute, Jimmy. Wait, Scott. I believe you stumbled on something sensational.
Who is he?
Well, if it's the same man, and I think it is, his name is Dr. Roebling. He's the inventor of a new device having to do with communications. Listen to this, Jimmy. Dr. Roebling's device, although the nature of it has not yet been revealed, is said to be so valuable that the one model in existence is insured for $10 million.
$10 million?
Uh-huh.
What do you think the device is, Mr. Kent?
I haven't the faintest idea, Jimmy. But that's Dr. Roebling sitting across from us. He's going to be interviewed by a Daily Planet reporter.
Oh, I was right. I knew there was something strange about him.
You certainly hit the nail on the head that time. Well, here goes for an attempted interview.
I hope you get it, Mr. Kent.
I'll just cross the aisle and drop into the seat next to him.
Wish me luck. Okay.
Good evening, Dr. Roebling.
Yeah? Oh, I beg your pardon.
I said good evening, Dr. Roebling.
You must be mistaken. My name is Harris.
Oh, yes, I understand. I'm Clark Kent, Doctor, reporter for the Daily Planet. I happened to be glancing over this paper and noticed your picture.
That young man is not my picture. I told you my name is Harris. It's Walter Harris.
Well, names don't mean anything, really. The important thing is your contribution to the field of communications.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, according to this story in the paper, you've just...
How many times must I tell you that I have no connection with either the story or the photograph in that newspaper?
Haven't you invented a new communications device?
No, I haven't.
Didn't you insure the model of the device for $10 million?
Young man, if you have nothing better to do than annoy total strangers, may I suggest that you devote your unwelcome attention to others?
Now, come, Doctor, that's not the proper attitude.
Well, unless you cease annoying me, at once I shall be forced to call the conductor.
All right, that's how you feel about it.
That is exactly how I feel about it.
Okay. Sorry I bothered you.
I heard what he said, Mr. Kent. Do you think he's telling the truth?
I'm not quite sure, Jimmy. He's the spitting image of this picture in the paper.
Oh, maybe there'd be some initials on his luggage.
He doesn't seem to have any luggage. Could be that we're wrong.
Oh, gosh, I don't think so. The picture and the way his eyes keep shifting. Look, he's getting up.
Probably going into the dining car.
Maybe we ought to follow him.
No, I don't think so. He'll be back.
Well, at least we can stop whispering. Gosh, that sure was exciting for a minute.
Jimmy.
Yeah?
You see that crumpled up piece of paper he left on the seat?
Uh-huh.
It may be something that'll tell us whether he is Dr. Roebling.
Want me to get it?
No, you sit tight. I'll walk up to the water cooler at the end of the car and pick it up on my way back.
Okay. I'll keep my eye on it.
I'll be right back.
Gosh, I sure hope there's a clue on that piece of paper. A real exciting clue. Watch Mr. Kent wasting time at the water cooler for it. Why doesn't he hurry back? Here he comes. I can hardly wait. Okay, what's on the paper?
Easy, Jimmy. Now wait till I read it.
What does it say?
Something very peculiar.
What?
It says, "This is your last warning."
Well, it looks as though Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen have accidentally stumbled on something that may turn out to be another exciting adventure. Is the nervous, gray-haired little man really Dr. Roebling? And if he is, who sent him the threatening note? Listen to the next episode for further developments.
Don't forget, tune in again for the next thrilling episode with Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman who can leap tall buildings at a single bound, race a speeding bullet to its target, then steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice.
And now to our story. When Bull Raglan, leader of a Northwoods fur smuggling gang, left Jimmy Olsen and Batiste bound hand and foot in a dark cave, his plan was to keep them hidden until he could bargain with Clark Kent, who he thought was a government agent. But unknown even to Bull, the cave was occupied by a full-grown bear hibernating for the winter. Disturbed and angered, the bear attacked Jimmy and Batiste. Meanwhile, Kent, having captured Bull and his assistant Chuck, forced them to go along with him while he followed Batiste's dog sled tracks out of the clearing where the French-Canadian guide had camped. As they neared the cave, Kent heard Jimmy's voice calling for help. Compelled to knock Bull out, Kent left him with Chuck, who had sworn he was going straight, and headed for the cave. As he neared the entrance, he could hear the wild growling of the bear.
Help! Help!
I'm coming, Jimmy! Good thing it's pitch dark in there.
Mr. Kent, the bear's coming at me!
Jimmy! Poor kid's fainted. Now I can handle this as Superman. All right, come on, Grizzly. Launch at me. Come on, that's it. Still up with your feet, eh? Oh, you don't like boxing, do you? Want to wrestle, eh? Get me in a bear hunt. Okay, come on. There. Now let's see who can squeeze the hardest. I guess that finishes you. Now, let's see. Jimmy seems all right outside of a few scratches. Oh, but poor Batiste is badly mauled. Gotta get them both back to town as soon as possible. Maybe a matter of life or death for Batiste. That means I'll have to leave Bull and Chuck behind and send someone back for them. Taking a chance, but it can't be helped. All I hope is that Chuck doesn't see me leave the cave as Superman. Well, no time to waste. One under each arm. Out to the entrance. Up! Up! And away!
Ooh, that burns.
Oh, it can't be that bad, Jimmy.
Oh, no? You try putting iodine on open scratches. Isn't that enough, Father Malone?
I think it is, Jimmy. You're a very lucky boy.
Lucky? Call this luck, I never want to have any more of it.
Well, you were lucky that bear didn't swipe you across the face instead of the arm.
And doubly lucky that Mr. Kent arrived when he did.
Oh, by the way, how's Batiste?
Well, we won't know for a day or so. He was badly torn up, but if the wounds don't infect, he'll pull through all right. Well, I must say I hardly expected to see you back here so soon, but I'm glad it turned out as well as it did.
What happened to the two fur smugglers?
The customs men picked them up. Chuck had kept his promise to see that Bull Raglan didn't escape, so they let him go. Father Malone's trying to get him a logging camp job.
And what about Bull?
I suppose he'll go to jail.
Well, he should for what he did to Batiste and me. Gosh, Mr. Kent, I wouldn't be here now if you hadn't killed that bear. I still don't see how you did it.
Oh, I told you I had a knife, Jimmy.
Yeah?
What puzzles me, Kent, is how you managed to get both Jimmy and Batiste back to Montville without a sled.
Well, it was a long hike, I admit.
You mean to say you carried both of them 10 miles?
Well, Father, Jimmy doesn't weigh any more than a puff of smoke, and Batiste is light.
It's amazing, Kent. I don't think Paul Bunyan could have done much better.
Oh, who's Paul Bunyan?
Oh, don't you know, Jimmy?
No, Father, I don't. Is he a friend of yours?
Jimmy, I'm surprised at you. Haven't you ever heard of Paul Bunyan?
No.
Why, he was the most famous logger ever to fell timber in the North Woods, Jimmy. And the strongest, too. For they claim he could cut down 400 trees with one swing of his axe.
Oh, I don't believe it. No man could do that.
Well, Paul Bunyan was no ordinary man. They say he owned a saw that was a half a mile long, and that 200 men used to ride on it while he cut down a stand of timber.
Are you trying to kid me, Father Malone?
No, Father's not kidding, Jimmy. Any Northwoods logger can tell you stories about Paul Bunyan. Didn't he own a huge ox, Father?
Oh, that he did, Kent. A big blue ox he called Bay.
That's the one.
It was the strongest ox in the world. And Paul used to feed it 3,000 tons of hay every morning and 5,000 tons of oats at night.
Oh, where did he get all the hay and oats?
I suppose Paul owned a 50,000-acre farm and grew it.
50,000 acres. Paul Bunyan's farm stretched from the northern tip of Minnesota to the southern tip of Michigan. And there was a road running through it that twisted and turned like a corkscrew. So one day, Paul hitched his big blue ox to the Michigan end of the road, and in 10 minutes, Jimmy, that ox pulled the road out straight as a die, and it never had any more curves in it.
Gosh. Talk about Batiste and his tall stories. Well, yours take the cake, Father Malone.
Oh, these aren't my stories, Jimmy. They belong to the logging camps. They're a part of America, just like the stories of Hercules were a part of Greece.
Oh, then they aren't true. Paul Bunyan never existed.
As much as a legend ever exists, Jimmy.
Oh, I see.
When we get back to Metropolis, Jimmy, I'll buy you a book of Paul Bunyan's stories.
Oh, that'll be swell. Say, when are we going back, Mr. Kent? I suppose now that Batiste won't be up and around for a while, our dog sled trip to Canada is over almost before it began.
I could get you another guide, Kent. Not as good as Batiste, but dependable.
No, Father. I think Jimmy and I might just as well go on home. We both had enough excitement to last us a long time. We'll come up next year for our dog sled trip.
Well, don't forget. As a matter of fact, if you let me know in advance, I might be able to arrange to go along with you.
Oh, gosh, I hope you can, Father.
Are you taking tonight's train, Kent?
Yes, Father. That reminds me, Jimmy, you'd better get your clothes packed. We have less than an hour before the train leaves.
Well, what time is it now?
The clock is just about to strike 7.
Okay, I'll be ready in 10 minutes.
Well, Jimmy, hardly seems possible that last night we were up in the North Woods and tonight we're rolling across wheat fields. Jimmy.
Huh? Oh, yes.
Yes, what?
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't listening. I was watching that man across the aisle. Look how his eyes shift, Mr. Kent. Almost like he thought he was being shadowed.
Don't be silly, Jimmy. Here, take this newspaper. Read the funnies and do the crossword puzzle.
Okay. Gosh, Mr. Kent.
Oh, now what?
Look at this picture on the front page of the paper, and then look at that man across the aisle.
Huh? There seems to be a slight resemblance.
Slight? What, the same person? The bald spot in front and the gray hair in back and the bushy eyebrows.
Everyone on the card, I know you're talking about him. Wait a minute, let me see that paper.
Why is this picture there, Mr. Kent? I didn't get a chance to read the caption.
Just a minute, Jimmy. Wait, Scott. I believe you stumbled on something sensational.
Who is he?
Well, if it's the same man, and I think it is, his name is Dr. Roebling. He's the inventor of a new device having to do with communications. Listen to this, Jimmy. Dr. Roebling's device, although the nature of it has not yet been revealed, is said to be so valuable that the one model in existence is insured for $10 million.
$10 million?
Uh-huh.
What do you think the device is, Mr. Kent?
I haven't the faintest idea, Jimmy. But if that's Dr. Roebling sitting across from us, he's going to be interviewed by a Daily Planet reporter.
So I was right. I knew there was something strange about him.
You certainly hit the nail on the head that time. Well, here goes for an attempted interview.
I hope you get it, Mr. Kent.
I'll just cross the aisle and drop into the seat next to him.
Wish me luck. Okay.
Good evening, Dr. Roebling.
Yeah? Oh, I beg your pardon.
I said good evening, Dr. Roebling.
You must be mistaken. My name is Harris.
Oh, yes, I understand. I'm Clark Kent, Doctor, reporter for the Daily Planet. I happened to be glancing over this paper and noticed your picture.
That young man is not my picture. I told you my name is Harris. It's Walter Harris.
Well, names don't mean anything, really. The important thing is your contribution to the field of communications.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, according to this story in the paper, you've just...
How many times must I tell you that I have no connection with either the story or the photograph in that newspaper?
Haven't you invented a new communications device?
No, I haven't.
Didn't you insure the model of the device for $10 million?
Young man, if you have nothing better to do than annoy total strangers, may I suggest that you devote your unwelcome attention to others?
Oh, come, Doctor, that's not the proper attitude.
Well, unless you cease annoying me, at once I shall be forced to call the conductor.
All right, that's how you feel about it.
That is exactly how I feel about it.
Okay. Sorry I bothered you.
I heard what he said, Mr. Kent. Do you think he's telling the truth?
I'm not quite sure, Jimmy. He's the spitting image of this picture in the paper.
Oh, maybe there'd be some initials on his luggage.
He doesn't seem to have any luggage. Could be that we're wrong.
Oh, gosh, I don't think so. The picture and the way his eyes keep shifting. Look, he's getting up.
Probably going into the dining car.
Maybe we ought to follow him.
No, I don't think so. He'll be back.
Well, at least we can stop whispering. Gosh, that sure was exciting for a minute.
Jimmy.
Yeah?
You see that crumpled up piece of paper he left on the seat?
Uh-huh.
It may be something that'll tell us whether he is Dr. Roebling.
Want me to get it?
No, you sit tight. I'll walk up to the water cooler at the end of the car and pick it up on my way back.
Okay. I'll keep my eye on it.
I'll be right back.
Gosh, I sure hope there's a clue on that piece of paper. A real exciting clue. What's Mr. Kent wasting time at the water cooler for? Why doesn't he hurry back? Here he comes. I can hardly wait.
Okay.
What's on the paper?
Easy, Jimmy. Now wait till I read it.
What does it say?
Something very peculiar.
What?
It says, "This is your last warning."
Well, it looks as though Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen have accidentally stumbled on something that may turn out to be another exciting adventure. Is the nervous, gray-haired little man really Dr. Roebling? And if he is, who sent him the threatening note? Listen to the next episode for further developments.
Don't forget, tune in again for the next thrilling episode with Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
Stand by to raise ship. Blast off. -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0!
As roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. In the steaming gaseous fog which forever shrouds the planet Venus, a tall, solidly built young man wearing the trim uniform of a space cadet strides briskly along a deserted street in the city of Venusport on his way toward the spaceport. Suddenly, another tall young man steps out of a darkened alleyway, trailed closely by a smaller, wizened follower, and plants himself in the cadet's path.
Excuse me. You're Cadet Astro, aren't you? What? Yes, I am. Who are you? Don't you recognize me? Take a close look. What? Jumping Jupiter. Surprised? Why, you look just like me. Yes. Amazing resemblance, isn't it? In case you've forgotten, I'm your cousin, Mirko. My cousin? You've heard of me. Yes, I have. Nothing very complimentary, I'll bet. No, not very. I didn't think so. Come on, let's go someplace and get acquainted, Astro. Sorry, I've got to get to the spaceport and catch a ship back to Earth. I'm afraid you won't be able to make that ship, Astro. What do you mean? I've got other plans for you. All right, Beale. Hey, wait a minute. What is this? Who are you? Ooh. Nice work, Beale. Now let's drag my dear cousin Astro inside and go to work on him. Come on, Astro. Wake up. Wake up. How much sodium pentothal did you give him, Theo?
Just enough to make sure he tells the truth when he comes to. Will you look at him, though? You and him are like two peas in a pod, Mirko.
My hair's a little darker.
That's easily fixed. When you put his uniform on, nobody will be able to tell you apart.
I hope not. If anything goes wrong, it'll mean my neck.
Nothing needs to go wrong if you keep your wits about you.
Oh.
He's coming too. Well, how are you feeling now, Astro, my lad?
Who are you? Where am I?
You're with a friend, lad.
A friend?
That's right. Stay behind him. Listen sharp to the way he talks, Mirko.
Right.
Now, Astro, I'd like you to tell me about Space Academy. About your friends there. Your unit mates.
Yes, sir.
I guess you know Tom Corbett and Roger Manning pretty well. Hey, Astro?
They're my best friends.
Tell me about them. Corbett first.
They don't come any better than Tom. He's a great guy. Theo, ask him if he and Corbett have nicknames for each other.
Tell me, you and Corbett have nicknames for each other?
No. Roger and I call each other names sometimes. He calls me Venusian Hillbilly or Clunkhead.
Uh-huh. What else about him?
Nothing much. Roger's all right. Just needs some of the space gas blown out of his tubes once in a while. Tom and I take care of that. We keep him in line.
Astro.
What's the matter with him, Theo? Why did he pass out?
The drug acts like that. He'll come to again in a few minutes, and I can pump in some more. Did you get everything he said?
Sure.
Next time, I'll ask him about Captain Strong and Commander Ock.
Don't bother. I have all the information I need on them.
Well, all right. You know, I think this will work out just fine, Mirko.
So far. But the big test comes when I show up at Space Academy. Incidentally, what happens to my dear cousin when I leave?
Never mind about him.
I do mind. I wouldn't want him showing up at the Academy, too.
You won't have to worry about that, Mirko. Your dear cousin Astro ain't ever going to see Space Academy again. We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by. Astro,
Roger Manning, Dr. Joan Dale, Tom Corbett. You can get picture cutouts of all four on packages of Kellogg's Pep. You'll have a mountain of fun with these cutouts, spacemen. You can even build a setting to show your Space Cadet cutouts in action. Now, just suppose that the cadets had landed on the moon and were tracking down space pirates. Well, to show that, you draw a picture of the moon's surface, craters and all. Then you'd make a picture of the Polaris. Next, take the Space Cadet cutouts and put them right on the setting. And there you have it, a real Space Cadet scene. And once you get all four Space Cadet cutouts, you'll be able to use them all different ways. You can even act out today's adventure. So don't delay. Start collecting Space Cadet picture cutouts now. Have Kellogg's Pep for breakfast every morning. Kellogg's Pep gives you all the goodness of wheat, all the flavor of malt, all the get-up-and-go energy of a real spaceman cereal. When you finish the package, cut out the Space Cadet picture on the back. It's loads of fun to play with Space Cadet cutouts, and it's loads of fun to start off each day with a build-up wheat cereal, Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Unaware that their unit mate Astro is being held prisoner on his home planet Venus, Tom Corbett and Roger Manning greet Astro's impersonator as he enters their dormitory.
Astro. Greetings, space boys.
Well, the Venusian hillbilly himself. Where you been, lunkhead? You had us worried.
You know those space liners. We were held up half a day on Luna, rounding up a couple of tourists who got lost.
A space liner? You came back on a space liner?
Well, sure.
You mean you bought passage on a ship when you could fly for free on a Solar Guard cruiser?
Oh, well, you know, finishing up your leave and all, you like to make a splash. And I always did want to ride in one of those floating space palaces.
You always swore you'd never set foot in one. And where'd you get that kind of money? The fare on one of those jobs is almost a year's pay.
Well, you see...
Don't tell me you put the bite on your uncle.
Yeah, that's it.
Brother, Why in blazes did you talk me into leaving Venus a week early, Tom?
Well, you said you wanted to prowl, Roger, and I wanted to see my folks, so...
Speaking of prowling, Roger, any new conquests?
Well, now that you mention it, Astro, old pal.
Oh, Astro, why'd you give him the opening?
There was the cutest little operator at Cadet Marshall's party last night. A real dish.
Yeah? How is Marshall? I haven't seen him in a long time.
Huh?
Are you kidding, Astro?
Why, no.
Oh, don't tell me you kissed and made up.
Well...
You and he almost tore each other apart the last time you met. How come the sudden change of heart?
Oh, well, I thought it over, and that was kid stuff. I just as soon drop the whole matter.
Huh? Well, I'll be a Martian mouse. What gives here?
I never saw you act like this before, Astro, or talk this way either. Astro, don't you hear me?
Tom, what's the matter with him? He's just standing there, staring.
Astro, what's wrong?
Come on, snap out of it, you big ape.
What?
Astro, you all right?
What happened?
That's what we'd like to know. We were talking to you, and all of a sudden you went clear out of this world.
Oh, the doctor said this would happen.
Oh, what doctor?
What's wrong with you?
Well, it's this way, fellas. I didn't want to say anything before, but Liner was... Well, I lied to you.
But why, Astro?
To cover up. You see, I had a little accident. It happened after you two left Venus. I hurt my head and was laid up at the hospital.
Why didn't you tell us?
Oh, I didn't want to spoil your vacation. Anyhow, the medico said I'd have, well, spells, you might call it, when I'd go blank and forget things.
Well, you still should be checked by the Academy medico.
Oh, but I'll fall behind in class. I'll lose my place with you fellas in the unit. Look, I promise, if I do any more blanking or anything like that, I'll see the medico. But right now, let me sweat it out, huh?
Well, if his doctor on Venus said it was okay for him to come back to the Academy, I guess it is, Tom.
Sure it is.
Well, maybe. Okay, Astro, we'll sweat it out with you. But we'll keep a close eye on you.
Thanks, Tom.
Gosh, Astro, I was starting to get some cockeyed ideas about you, but if you just fell on your head, well, you can't really damage that Venusian rot.
No, I guess I can't. And you just watch, fellas. Everything's going to work out fine. MC 394. Marco calling Field. Marco calling Field. Come in.
Field here. Go ahead, Mirko.
I just made the contact. I'll be able to swing it tonight, I think.
That's the way to talk. You have the schedule?
Yeah, but I want to double check. I'll contact you again later.
Right.
How's my charming cousin?
He's as snug as a bug. Don't worry about him.
I won't, as long as you're taking care of him. Well, talk to you later.
So long, Mirko. Do a good job tonight.
Hey, Roger. Roger, wake up.
Huh? What's the matter, Tom?
Get up, but be quiet about it. Astro just sneaked out of the dorm.
He what? But it's the middle of the night. Where's he going?
That's what we're going to find out. He had a package with him. Come on. Look, Roger. Astro's heading for the spaceport.
What in blazes is that lunkhead up to?
That's what I want to know. Keep moving, but stay in the shadows.
Tom, I don't like spying like this.
Well, neither do I, but I think Astro's in trouble. If we can find out what it is, maybe we can help him.
Who said he's in trouble?
Well, there's something wrong with him. Haven't you noticed how different he's been since he came back from Venus?
Well, the poor guy had a bad accident. He fell on his head.
I know, but there's something else. Something I can't put my finger on. He's been, well, kind of sly.
Sly? Astro? Oh, come off it, Tom.
Well, what do you call sneaking out here in the middle of the night like this?
Well, he must have had a good reason.
Wait, look. He's heading for the Unit 2 cruiser, the Vega. Come on.
What in blazes is that ape up to?
Search me. Hey, look out for that crate, Roger.
Ooh, blasted.
Quick, behind this ramp. Astro's turning around.
I don't think he spotted us. Tom, look. You can see him clearer now. I think the poor guy's walking in his sleep.
Well, you're space happy.
He is. See how he's got his hands out in front of him?
He wasn't walking like that before.
Well, we couldn't see him clearly before. It was too dark.
I'm sure that...
Hey, he went right past the Vega. He's heading for the canal. Come on, Tom. He's liable to fall right into the drink. Astro! Hey, Astro, wait!
Not so loud, Roger. You'll bring the watch.
Well, hurry up before he falls in. Here he is.
I got him.
See? His eyes are closed. Astro, wake up.
What? Tom, Roger.
Take it easy now, fella.
What are we doing out here?
You were walking in your sleep.
I
was? Looks like it. You never did this before, Astro.
Well, I did it at home a couple of times after the accident, Tom.
Oh?
Gosh, I'm sorry, fellas.
Get it. It wasn't your fault. Uh-oh. There's the watch. Come on. We can slip into the door in the back way.
Wait a minute.
What's the matter, Tom?
Astro had a package with him. A package?
Yes, you must have dropped it. Never mind. We've got to make tracks or we'll all land in the brig. Let's blast.
Beale here. About time you called in, Mirko. What in blazes happened last night? The boys were there when the Vega landed. There wasn't anything aboard. Central Control is burning mad.
Corbett, Manny caught me. It's all right, though. I made them think I was sleepwalking. Manny bought my story, but I'm not positive about Corbett.
How about this?
Everything else is okay. But I don't want to try it again tonight, in case Corbett is still suspicious. I'll wait till tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. Understand?
Tomorrow. Right. But nothing's better go wrong again, Mirko.
It won't this time. I'll make sure those cadet punks don't follow me. I've got to cut out now, Theo. I won't contact you again unless the schedules change.
Right.
Well, looks like Tom and Roger were too smart for Mirko, huh, Beale?
Button, if you're still alive, we'll let him court-martial you for a traitor.
What? Oh, that's the way you're going to play it, huh?
That's the way, exactly.
Why, you dirty space crawler out?
Go on. Bust your muscles. You can't break them ropes.
Oh, I can't, huh?
Jupiter.
Now let's see if you can take it as well as you dish it out.
No, you don't. Keep back.
Don't go away, pal. You're going to have some sweet dreams. Right from my...
No.
Hey, Roger, look. What's that? The package Astro was carrying the other night. I just fished it out of the canal. He must have thrown it in when he heard us coming. Oh? What is it? Just a box. I'll try to get the top off with my knife. Tom, I don't understand you. You're acting as if you don't trust Astro. I'm not sure I do, Roger. There we are. Well, come on. What's in it?
Kind of curious, aren't you, fellas?
Astro.
So you found it, eh, Corbett? I figured you did when it wasn't in the canal.
Hey, Astro.
Smart, Corbett. But this time you outsmarted yourself. Now you and your pal are in trouble.
Maybe you're the one who's in trouble.
Not me. I just have to change my plans a little.
Look, what goes on here? Tom, Astro... He isn't Astro, Roger. Not Astro? No, I don't know who he is, but... A ray gun. Tom, he pulled a gun on us. What in the universe?
We're going out to the spaceport, boys. Right now.
What's the idea?
Just do as I say. You'll walk in front, Manning. Then Corbett. And I'll be right behind you. If you make one sound, I'll blast you. Now, march!
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by. There's big news at Kellogg's, spacemen, and that means good news for you. All the swell Kellogg cereals have been dressed up in brand new packages. You can see them right now at your grocery store. Why, some of the pictures on some Kellogg's packages look good enough to eat, but they're just there to show you what a swell cereal there is waiting inside for you. And don't forget, on the regular-sized package of Kellogg's Pep, you get an exciting Space Cadet picture cutout, one that you can make a stand for and put in a Space Cadet setting of your own. All the new faces on the Kellogg cereal packages are bright and happy pictures. You want to have one on your breakfast table every morning. And if it's a Kellogg cereal, you know that you're going to want a big bowlful, too. So make a date right now to go to your grocery store and see all the new faces on the Kellogg cereals. Then you'll be saying,
did you see what I saw? Kellogg's on display in brand new boxes, bright and gay. These famous cereals come your way. Go see this eyeful. The Kellogg's All-Star Breakfast Show has a cheerful look, a lift for you. Start you up with a hoop-de-doo. Kellogg's for breakfast and a happy, happy day. Get a big surprise today.
See the big K-Day display of the new Kellogg packages at your grocery store. While the Academy sleeps, Tom and Roger are forced to go to the spaceport with Mirko, who is masquerading as Astro and who is armed. At Mirko's command, the two cadets approached the space cruiser Polaris, which looms sleek and gleaming under the pale light of the stars.
Blast it, but I was dumb, Tom, not to realize this guy wasn't Astro. I wasn't exactly bright either, Roger, not to catch on sooner than I did.
All right, you two. Hold it.
What happens now, Mr. Rat?
You'll find out, Manning. Turn around and face the ship.
Why?
Turn around, I said. You too, Corbett.
He's going to finish us with that ray gun and blast off in the Polaris, Tom.
Listen, Roger. Sounds like a ship coming in for a landing.
Yeah, it is. A solar guy destroyer.
It'll be too late to help you, Corbett. Oh,
why, you slept, Tom.
And here's yours, Manning. Oh. Now, brother cadets, let's blast off for a nice little joyride in space.
Tom, you okay? That phony slugged us, then tied us up and dumped us down here in the hold of the Polaris.
I feel like I've been run over by a steamroller, but I guess I'll live.
Not for long. That crazy space joker up on the control deck can't handle the ship alone.
Nothing much we can do about it now, I'm afraid.
Hey, somebody's coming. You suppose it's
Jumping Jupiter Astro.
What?
Hello, fellas. Sorry I took so long getting up here, but riding acceleration without cushions is no picnic.
Astro? How in the universe did
Wait a minute, Tom. Maybe he isn't Astro. It's that other joker trying to trick us.
Why, you space-happy rockhead, if you don't know me by this time...
That's Astro, all right.
Well, don't just stand there. Get us out of this.
All right. Keep your flaps trimmed.
Well, what's going on here anyway, Astro? Where have you been? Who is this character?
He looks enough like you to be your twin.
He's a cousin. Name's Mirko. Haven't heard from him in years. He and a gang he's working with nailed me on Venus when I was on my way back to the academy.
But why?
Yeah.
Look, will you guys stop wriggling around and let me get these wires off?
Okay, but keep talking.
The idea was for Mirko to pose as me at the academy and help this gang smuggle stuff out of Earth.
Where to? What kind of stuff?
Don't know. When I broke away from them yesterday morning, I didn't hang around to ask questions. Anyhow, Mirko would hide the stuff on Academy ships that wouldn't be suspected or even subject to customs search. And then the gang would pick it up at some spaceport en route.
Pretty clever operation.
There you are. You're both loose. Now, where's my dear cousin?
Topside, on the control deck.
He's liable to kill us all the way he's handling this ship.
Well, let's get him.
Oh, nothing doing, Roger. This is my job.
But Astro.
Look, Tom, after what I went through, I deserve this. You stay down here.
Better hurry up, Astro.
Don't worry. This will be short and sweet. Just stay there and listen.
Tom, you think maybe we'd better follow him?
No, this is his party. Let him enjoy it.
Hiya, cousin. Shake hands.
Wow, he sure is. Oh, listen to him. Those punches even hurt down here.
Maybe we had better break that up. There won't be anything left of Mirko.
Uh-oh. That sounded like taps to me.
Astro, are you all right?
All right. I feel terrific.
Well, let's get up on the control deck. This ship is running away with us.
Okay. But look, I've been thinking, Tom.
Stick to your fists, Astro. You think a lot better with them.
Well, I'm serious. Instead of going back to the academy, why don't we head for Venus and pick up the rest of that smuggling gang before they get away? I left them there when I escaped.
Hey, that's a great idea,
Are
Tom.
you guys kidding? Commander Arkwright would have our ears if we blasted off on our own. But we'll put it up to him when we get back.
A fine thing. Just when I was beginning to enjoy myself.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, when Tom, Roger, and Astro rocket to Venus on a dangerous assignment with the smugglers and find themselves in the greatest peril of their lives in Part 2 of The Riddle of Astro. Tune in, same time, same station, for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Spaceman, this is Tom Corbett. Thousands of families have been driven from their homes by the floods in the Midwest, and they need our help now. And money from you and your parents will help them in this terrible emergency. So give to the Red Cross.
Tom Corbett Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in the cast were Al Markham and Jan Merlin. Today's program was written by Ben Peter Freeman and directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Begg speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
And what a secret. In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal all in one box. And no other raisin brand but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's because
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
This program came to you from New York. America is sold on ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Finding life rather dull, dreaming again of exotic places, wishing you were somewhere else? We offer you Escape.
Escape with us now to England and the story of a hard rock miner trapped in a deserted mine beneath the icy waters off the Cornish coast, as Hammond Innes tells it in his gripping tale, The Killer Mine.
The rain had stopped when I reached Penzance just before dark. At the waterfront, there were men dressed much the same as myself, in seamen's jerseys and jacket. Nobody took any notice of me, and I suddenly felt at ease for the first time since I landed in England. I lit a cigarette and fished out of my pocket the worn and dirty bit of notepaper which bore Dave Tanner's address. 2 Harbour Terrace, Penzance, Cornwall. I read the note again. Dear Jim, I hear things aren't what they were in Italy. If you're getting tired of it and want a change of air, I can fix you up with a job in England, no questions asked. It's a mining job and right up your street, your old chum, Dave. Well, up to now, I'd been lucky. No questions had been asked. So I went to meet my old chum at number 2 Harbour Terrace.
Yes?
Mr. Tanner in?
Who?
Tanner, Mr. Dave Tanner.
Oh, nobody of that name lives here.
Oh, well, he's no friend of mine. I've come a long way to see him. Hey, look, here's the letter he sent me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, look, you don't have to be afraid. I'm not a cop. He's a Welshman, dark hair and eyes, a bit of a limp.
Oh, maybe it's Mr. Jones you're wanting, but he's not here now either.
Do you know when he'll be back?
No,
Hello. You're hurt.
Oh, no,
That's blood on your hands.
Oh, one of the lodgers. He cut himself on glass.
Davy's here, isn't he? He's here and he's hurt.
No. You can't come in.
Move over. Where is he?
I tell you, you're mistaken.
What the devil are you doing, girl? Come and fix this arm before I lose any more blood. Who is it anyway?
It's all right, Dave. It's me, Jim Price.
Jim Price. Fine time for visiting you've chosen. Well, come on up, man. I'm bleeding to death.
We went upstairs, and inside his room, Dave was sitting, white-faced, on the edge of a bed. He winced as the girl daubed iodine into what was obviously a bullet wound. And then the bandage went on.
Hey, not too tight, girl.
Well, what happened, Dave?
Nothing. It's all right. Tell you later. I'm glad to see you back. Still.
Yes, Davy?
Wrap up some food. Find another raincoat.
But you can't go out.
Don't argue, girl. It's time to go now.
All right.
That's better. Now we can talk. You've come over for that job, eh?
Yes.
Got a show with no questions asked?
I managed.
It cost me my last farthing, though. I've got no papers.
You got ashore. That's what matters. Well, Jim, it's a mining job, as I told you. Here, help me on with my coat.
Yes,
Easy.
there.
Easy. There. I want to be shut of this place. Your way is the same as mine. I'll tell you about the job as we go.
Where? Where do we go?
Cripple Z's tin mine. But there's more to it than that.
Oh?
Come on. We'll meet the girl downstairs. I've got to get out. Come along.
Daddy, here's sandwiches and an old raincoat of Father's.
Give it to him. Now listen, Sam. Those clothes upstairs burn.
Yes.
Clean up everything. Anybody comes round asking questions, tell them you haven't seen me.
All right.
Not for 3 days.
Oh, where can I get in touch with you?
You can't.
You'll come back?
Indeed I will. But remember, you haven't seen me. And you don't know where I've gone.
I don't know.
That's true. You'll hear from me. Now open the door, see if anyone's about.
Yes.
The street was deserted, and the rain had started again as we slipped out. We kept to mean, badly lit streets as we made our way out of the town. Then, at the top of the hill, we left the lights of Penzance behind us. We hadn't said a word until then.
We'll separate at Lanyon.
How far is that?
Oh, 8, 9 miles.
Oh. Where are you going?
A farm. Be hiding up for a bit.
Oh, the police, baby?
In a matter of speaking, they had a fishing boat. Isle of Mull. We were carrying goods.
Liquor?
Of course. Picked it up from an Italian boat. The revenue cutter boarded us. They insisted on taking the hatches off. I warned them not to. It was their own fault. I jumped for the other boat. That's when I got this bullet through the arm.
How did you get away?
We booby-trapped the hatches. When they opened them, she went up, sank. Just like that.
How many were killed?
What does it matter? They're after me, though.
What about me?
Oh, the job. I told you if you want it, it's yours.
Where do I go? Who do I see?
Cripple Z's. Just down the road from Butler. Ask for Captain Manick. Tell him I sent you. Show him my letter.
That's all?
That's all. He'll tell you what it's about. Come on, I'll step out. I'll need to rest soon enough with this cursed arm.
It must have been nearly midnight when the little Welshman and I parted. He pointed the way to Cripple Z's a mile further along, then turned away, disappeared in the driving rain. Half an hour later, I found the huddle of abandoned mine buildings. And then against the crackle of lightning, I saw a house. I had reached Cripple Z's and the job that was waiting for me.
What do you want?
I want to see Captain Manick.
I be Captain Manick. What do you want?
Dave Tanner sent me.
Who?
Dave Tanner. He told me to show you this letter.
Come in.
My name is Jim Price. Davey said you had a mining job for me. I'm a miner. I was working in Italy.
Come in here. There's a fire. You can get warm. How long have you known Dave?
You're in the army together?
Where?
Italy, mostly. Casino.
Sit down. You're the deserter chap, aren't you? Oh, it's all right. Davy told me about it. We don't ask questions here. Does anyone know you're in England?
No, only Dave. This job you've got, how long will it take?
Not being a miner, I wouldn't know. Might take a week. I'll give you a flat rate of £50, and another 100 if you can do it in 2 days.
A big tin strike?
No.
Well, I don't see where...
All right, just a minute. Yeah. Now, have a look at this chart. These mines are finished. There's nothing worth working in them anymore. I've got another use for it. You see that long gallery running down under the sea.
Yeah?
It's called the Mermaid. Nearly half a mile long. Now then, what I want you to do is to blow a hole in the seabed at the end of it.
Blow a hole in the seabed?
Yes. You see the slope of the gallery? It starts about 100 feet below the sea level. Mm-hmm. Then at the end rises to, well, by my figures, 20 feet under the bed of the sea.
My job is to drill through that 20 feet and let the sea in, huh?
Yes. I can tell you it's getting risky running liquor into England through the usual channels.
I see.
Yes. This will be safer. Our boat spots a buoy which marks the entrance of the underwater mine. Lowers the cargo and we haul it through the mine up to the shore.
Well, how?
A carriage drawn by a horse. Oh, it'll work. Even underwater it'll work. I've had 2 men working on the shaft for a year now to straighten it out. All we need is a miner to finish the job. That's you.
It's nasty. Suppose the entrance gets jammed with rock after she blows.
No, I'll go down in a diving suit and clear it.
Nasty. I haven't done undersea stuff.
But you know explosives and rock?
Yeah.
And there'll be nothing to it.
I don't know. What about Davy? Was he doing a job for you? Suppose the police get him and tie you up with it. What happens to me?
Oh, don't worry.
I don't like it.
Man, be sensible. You're a deserter from the British Army. You returned to England without papers. If not here, where would you work? I'd be offering you £150.
I should have stayed in Italy.
But you didn't?
No, I wanted to see Cornwall again. It was a mistake.
Not at all. Do what I ask, and I'll see that you get a passage back to Italy.
No. No, it's too dangerous. I'm sorry. I'll take my chances somewhere else on another job.
Oh? And you leave me no alternative.
What do you mean?
I shall have to telephone the police in Penzance and inform them that a deserter has shown up, looking for a job.
After what you told me? Don't make me laugh.
I'm quite a respectable man in these parts. I doubt that the authorities would take your word against mine.
No, bluffing. Nobody can force me to do anything.
You think not? No, stay where you are, Mr. Price. I wouldn't hesitate to shoot you. You see, I'm in rather a desperate position. It's taken me a long time to find a miner to do this job. I couldn't bear to see you refuse. You still have a moment to change your mind. Hello? Did you ring the police station for me, please?
He wasn't bluffing. I knew that I owned only a few seconds to decide. It was a choice of arrest, conviction as a deserter, or doing a job which might mean my life. I had run away from death once before. I suddenly realized that I'd been running ever since. I had to stop. I looked back at Manic, smiling and sure with his pistol pointed at me.
Well?
All right. Hang up. I'll do it. I'll blow up your bloody mind.
Escape, under the direction of Norman MacDonald, returns in just a moment. Boy Scout Week is now being celebrated across the nation. The Scouting program is well known to almost every American. It includes character building, physical fitness, and citizenship training that enriches the lives of boys and young men in all walks of life. Get your son or your neighbor's boy to join this worthy organization. And now, back to Escape.
Manic put down the phone, opened a desk drawer, and took out some pound notes. Handed me 10 and suggested that I get some sleep. We were to start work at 5 in the morning. I was pocketing the money when the door behind us opened. I looked around and saw an elderly man enter.
I didn't know you'd anybody here, Henry.
It's all right, Father. This is Jim Price. He's going to work here a bit. He's a miner.
A miner, is he? Well, my boy, it's good to know there'll be a miner working here at last. I knew you'd say it my way sooner or later, Henry. At least we can make a start now.
Price is working for me, Father.
Working for you? Nonsense, he must work for me. I'll prove to the world that the Cornish mining industry isn't dead.
You may as well understand. I'm letting the sea into the Mermaid Gallery.
You're mad. You can't do it. I won't allow it.
That's what I'm going to do.
I won't allow it, I tell you. I won't.
You've no alternative. Mr. Price, perhaps you better leave us now. Go to the kitchen across the hall. One of the men will show you to your quarters.
All right. I went to the kitchen, could hear the argument raging through the hall. There were two men sitting by a fire with mugs in their hands. One like a diminutive monk with a potbelly and rosy cheeks, and the other a long, cadaverous-faced man who looked at me solemnly as I entered.
Blimey, another one. Sit down, chum, sit down. I say, you staying or passing through?
I'm going to work here. I'm a miner.
Lord love a duck. Hear that, Slim? Now we don't have to worry about the ruddy roof falling in on it. My name's Friar O'Grady. You call me Friar. And this here's Slim Matthews.
Jim Price.
Mannix hired you to blow through the seabed?
Yes.
Does the old man know?
Yes, I just left him.
Thought I heard argy-bargy.
It's going to be trouble.
I don't understand.
The old man's been working these mines all his life. Now he says he's found the richest tin strike in Cornwall.
Captain's right, though. Captain's right. Running liquor's tax-free. If you follow me. Too expensive to operate a mine these days.
I shouldn't want your job, Mr. Price. We've been sweating for a year down here. Funny feeling with all that sea over your head.
Oh, well, every man to his trade, I say. Come on, mate, I'll show you to your digs. Imagine you'll want to be up right hand.
Thanks.
See you in the morning, Mr. Price.
The little cockney showed me to my room. It was about a half hour later that I heard a tap on my door. Yes? Mr. Manick.
I was afraid you might be asleep. Look, I got something to show you. My son tells me you're an experienced tinner. Have a look at this rock. Maybe you'll believe me.
Hey, that's tin, all right.
It's fabulous. The richest seam in the history of Cornish mining. Look at it. And my son, curse him, doesn't see it. He's going to let the sea into the mine. And he's brought you here to do it. You're the man who's going to wreck my life.
I'm sorry. It's a job, that's all.
You can't. You mustn't. I'd give you £50 more than he's offered if you don't do it.
What difference would it make if you'd only get another miner?
But that would take time. Don't you see? We would be rich.
I'm afraid that...
It's all right, it's all right. Think about it. I know he holds something over your head. He does with everyone. Think about it and give me your answer tomorrow.
All right. I will. Good night.
That's it, Mr. Price.
What's the pit for, Captain? There, underneath the scaffolding there.
To catch the rock when you make the final blast.
Oh. Well, it might work.
As I told you, if it doesn't, I'll come down in a diving suit to clear it away.
You say there's 20 feet to get through?
Yes.
There's quite a bit of water seeping in now.
It'll be touchy, all right.
Granite, basalt from the feel of it.
Well, that's what I thought.
Well, if it cracks, anything might happen.
Yes. By the way, my father spoke to you last night, didn't he?
Yes.
Showed you the tin. Probably offered you more not to blow the mine. I hope you refused, because if you didn't, I can still notify the police.
I didn't tell him anything.
Good. Then you can start to work immediately. I'll send Friar and Slim down to help you. And by the way, don't go wandering around too much. Some of these old tunnels run for miles that you can get lost. And stay out of the shaft that parallels this one. She's the old Come-Lucky mine. There've been a lot of falls recently. If she caves in, she'll take in the sea and break through here.
I'll be careful. I've worked mines most of my life. But it gives you a funny feeling to be standing under the sea a half mile from shore and protected by 20 feet of rock. Rock that you're going to be drilling and blasting till there's only maybe 10 feet. Then you pray that it doesn't cave in until you're out of the way. Fryer and Slim came down and I started to drill holes for the explosives. As the rock fell away, little streams of water fell, soaking us. It was nasty work, all right.
That do it, chum?
That's enough for the first blow.
How many do you think you'll need?
3, maybe 4, depends. Give me the charges.
Here you are, Price boy. Lots of water there.
There's nothing to worry about yet.
I hope.
You and Slim better get up the tunnel when she goes.
I was hoping you'd say that. I'm off. Good luck, chum.
The 2 men disappeared up the gallery, and I was left alone to explode the charge. I connected the wires, moved the exploder as far as it would stretch into the tunnel, and then I pressed the handle. The roof still held. A bit more water trickled in, but he still held. I went back to the entrance for a cup of coffee before starting again. As I approached the cage, which served as an elevator to the surface, I saw Captain Manick talking with another man. It was Dave Tanner.
You bloody fool! Why of all places did you have to come here?
I told you. The Cadet talked. I heard it on the wireless. I knew they wouldn't be thinking of looking for me here. It would be safer.
Safer? In broad daylight? Somebody must have seen you. The police will be all over us.
Nobody saw me.
How do you know? Price, you've got to be through that seabed by tonight.
Well, it's impossible. I can't do it.
Nothing's impossible. I can get you out of the country as soon as you've finished the job. If you don't finish tonight and the police come, well, what do you know? What does that mean?
Well, it can't be done. There's too much work for one man.
I'll put Fryer on the drill with you. He knows something about it. Tanner and myself will be clear of the rock after each blow.
Well, I'll try.
Good. You, Dave, stay out of sight, down here. And keep my father out of here. Shoot him if you have to. You understand?
All right, all right.
We worked like madmen all day, drilling, blasting. We blew the rock 3, 4, 5 times, and still it wasn't enough. The water was coming in fast, filling the pit. Manick and Slim went back for new drills and charges. Fryer and I stayed on the scaffolding. And I don't like the looks of that.
What's up, mate?
Rock. Weaker up here.
Dangerous?
Maybe. Fetch me a pick.
Go on. I've let that do. Broken the end. The last charge must have done it. I'll often get another shot, Bimbo.
I sat on that scaffolding, smoked a cigarette. Water streamed down the slimy walls. And I waited for Fryer. 5 minutes passed. And then...
Mr. Price! Huh? Mr. Price!
Mr. Manick!
You've got to stop. You've got to. Make in! If you flood the gallery, I'll never get it.
I'm sorry.
I won't let you, do you hear me?
There's nothing I can do.
It is mine. You're going to destroy it. I'll kill you. I'll kill you all.
You better get to the surface. Mr. Manick is not safe here.
Ah, you'll find out. You'll find out how unsafe it is.
He was gone, and I knew he was up to something. I wanted to follow, but I remembered Captain Manick's warning about the tunnels. The old man knew them, every twist and turn. And if he wanted to get rid of me, he could lead me to a maze from which I would never find my way out. So I stayed there until the captain and Slim came back.
We're getting ready to go, Price.
Your father was here.
What?
He's up to something.
How did he get by Dave?
I don't know.
You let him go. Come on, hurry. We've got to stop him.
What do we do?
He's going to make sure that we can't let the sea in here. He's mad. Come, lucky. Ah, that's what I'm afraid of. He knows that mine like a book. Come on.
The old man was somewhere in the mine which paralleled ours. If he knew of a fault in the wall, he could allow tons of sea water to rush in, breaking down the walls and flooding our tunnel. We had to stop him. Fryer joined us as we made our way into the adjoining galleries.
If he's got dynamite...
Don't say it, Captain.
I should have locked him up long ago.
Hey, what's that down there? Say.
It looks like a light.
It is. That's him.
He's working on something.
The wall. Father! Stop it! Stay where you are! Stay there!
Do as he says. Don't come any closer.
Listen to me! Don't do it! You'll be killed!
He'll drown us all. Let's get out. Say you let me have me tin.
Let him have it. Let him.
Look. It's not in a match. Say it. Say it, Major.
No, you old devil! Kill yourself! Boy! You're not getting me killed. Get it! No! Come on, son. Put it on!
Captain Manick lay on the wet tunnel floor, blood streaming from a wound where Fryer had struck him with a pick. We ran, the three of us, and behind was the mad old man with his charge of dynamite. We reached the mermaid gallery when it went off. We could hear the water pouring down as though from a great height. And then the more terrifying sound as the tons of sea swept through the maze of tunnels. We ran for the elevator which would take us safely, and the surface 100 feet above. And the water followed. You could hear the roar until it deafened you.
Wait, give me a hand. I twisted my ankle. Sorry, Tom, stop now.
I could see that blessed elevator so close. Slim and Fryer were almost there. Then the gate clanged, and it started up.
No, wait. Don't heave me. Use the ladder.
Somehow, I reached the ladder, painfully started up the runs. It was a nightmare, and the water was the monster that you couldn't escape. Halfway up, I heard them in the trees.
Stop! They don't go any further. I'm trying, but it won't. It won't. Fast, can you hear? Faster, you're on the ladder. Wait, we don't get any higher. We're getting down. I can climb.
I kept climbing, and the voices faded until I heard a gurgling scream. And then silence. And the water stopped its terrible sound. It had found sea level. When I got to the surface, I saw Dave Tanner. He was standing looking down at me with frightened eyes. And with him were 3 men in uniform. They were the police. I fell into their arms, crying. I tell you, I cried. I was so happy. I got away from that killer mine.
Under the direction of Norman MacDonald, Escape has brought you The Killer Mine by Hammond Innes, especially adapted for Escape by Anthony Ellis. John Daner was starred as Jim. Featured in the cast were Eileen Erskine, Tony Barrett, Ray Lawrence, Wilms Herbert, Jay Novello, and Lou Krugman. The special music for Escape was composed and conducted by Del Castillo.
Next week, escape with us to Mexico City and the story of a woman caught up in a terrifying web of murderous intrigue, as Patrick Quentin tells it in his exciting story, The Follower.
If you'll stick around, you'll find a lot of laughs and some deep human interest. Bill Goodwin is about to pay his regular Sunday afternoon visit with his $1-a-minute program. Bill will be selling CBS airtime at this modest rate to more people with things on their mind. $1-a-minute starring Bill Goodwin follows a mini on most of these same CBS stations. This is Roy Rowan speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. Wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol. In today's transcribed adventure, Buzz and Happy are at the Saturn City spaceport, following a man they believe to be a cousin of Prince Baccarati.
It's Vincent, all right, sir. In the back, he looks just like Baccarati.
All right, huh? Let's close in. Just a minute, Benson.
Yes?
I thought you promised to stay on Saturn.
Oh, did I, Corey?
Commander, it's Prince Baccarati. Get him, Hap.
All right, Menendez, use your ray gun. That does it, Malengo. Get them aboard the ship. We'll give them a one-way trip to Planet X.
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, The Spies from Planet X. Say, gang, have you met the twin space patrollers who've just moved in down the block a ways? A couple of real swell fellas and supercharged all the way. Well, now's your chance to meet them. Here they are.
Hi, Captain Tuzo. I'm Space Patroller Tommy Smith. And I'm Space Patroller Danny Smith.
Man, oh man, am I seeing double? You look alike and you talk alike.
And we eat alike. We had our bite-sized checks today. How about you?
Did I have my bite-sized checks today? Did I have a big bowl full of rice checks or wheat checks? The best-tasting cereals from here to the outer orbit of Pluto? Well, you bet I did. I'm supercharged just like both of you. Now, Space Patroller, did you power up with that bite-sized Chex nourishment this morning? You know, no other cereal, flaked or puffed, contains so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. That's why rice checks and wheat checks are official cereals of every space patroller in the universe. So, gang, take a tip from these supercharged twins. And every day before you blast off for school or play, have yourself a power breakfast with
bite-sized rice checks. Bite-sized wheat checks.
And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, The Spies from Planet X. In recent weeks, Buzz has successfully thwarted attempts by Prince Baccarati to sabotage United Planet's defenses. Space Patrol intelligence has been convinced that Prince Baccarati, former ruler of Neptune, was holed up in his fabulous castle on the remote Planet X, recouping his strength. But a Space Patrol agent has reportedly seen Baccarati in Saturn City. In response to this report, Commander Corey and Cadet Happy are speeding toward the planet Saturn.
Commander, if that really is Baccarati, he sure got a lot of nerve.
All we know is that this man reported to be Baccarati has been dealing with the Zakra Importing Company of Saturn City.
Zakra Importing?
It's a small outfit, practically a one-man operation. It's run by Emil Zakra. Seems to specialize in knickknacks and curios from the different planets.
Well, do you think knickknacks would make Baccarati come all the way from Planet X and risk getting caught?
I can tell you more about that, Happy, when we talk to Mr. Zakra. A few hours later, Buzz and Happy walked down a small side street in Saturn City. Most of the shops are closed for the day, except one shabby little store in which a dim green light casts a weird glow over shelves of dusty vases, statues, and carvings. A replica of an outmoded spaceship hangs above the door. On it, in luminous letters, are the words, Zakra Importing Company. Here we are, Happy.
I don't see anyone inside. Maybe they're closed.
Try the door.
It's open.
Somebody must be here. Let's go in.
Oh, look at the dust. I wouldn't say business was exactly booming.
Anybody here? Let's try the back room.
Uh-oh. Commander, look. The man on the floor behind the counter.
He's still breathing. He'll be all right. Somebody struck him with a blunt knife.
Is it Zakra?
I don't know. Somebody's coming to behind this curtain, see?
It's Baccarati.
Hold it, Baccarati.
Huh?
You came back to finish the job, I suppose.
Job? What you're talking about? His voice, sir. His voice is different.
But he looks like Baccarati. What's your name?
Right. Baccarat?
Huh?
I'm surprised to hear that name after all these years. Most people know me as Vance and Thomas Vance.
Are you related to Prince Baccarati?
My cousin. An unfortunate family resemblance.
I see. Now take a look behind that counter and see if that man resembles anyone you know.
Hey, Doctor, what's that?
You thought perhaps you could tell us.
Why would I?
What are you doing here, Mr. Benson?
I was to see Doctor on business.
Were you expecting your cousin?
No, I should say not.
All right, Benson. We're going to get Mr. Zucker to a doctor, and we'll have a little talk at Space Patrol headquarters. While Cadet Happy scans the files for information on Thomas Benson, Commander Corey at Saturn City headquarters questions the man who bears such a striking physical resemblance to the evil Prince Baccarati.
And you know absolutely nothing of your cousin's whereabouts.
Nothing, Commander. We haven't had any contact since he was forced to leave Neptune. We were never very friendly, even with boys.
And your home is on Neptune. You're just visiting Saturn.
Yes, a business trip. He's been here about a week.
Check, thanks, Arthur. Well, that'll be all, Mr. Benson, for the time being. Oh, you plan to be in Saturn City for a while?
Yes. Yes, I do, Commander. I'm at the Alcor Hotel.
Good. I may want to talk to you some more.
Call me any time. Good night, Commander.
Good night.
Yeah. That isn't the craziest thing. That guy's a dead ringer from Baccarati, but he sounds different and acts different.
What did you find out, Hunter?
Oh, he's Thomas Benson, engaged in the manufacturing business on Neptune. First cousin of Prince Baccarati.
Oh.
Changed his name from Baccarati to Benson. And this will kill you, sir. At Prince Baccarati's request to save the family from embarrassment.
Oh?
Yeah, the prince didn't want to be disgraced by a cousin who worked.
Does Benson have any criminal record?
Oh, no, sir. Spends his spare time collecting little statuettes, Mercury jade, mostly.
Well, what about Zucker?
Well, he'll pull through all that, sir, but he's still in a coma. He hasn't got a record either.
I was hoping this cousin might be an important link in Prince Baccarati's spy ring. Somehow, Baccarati manages to get information to and from the United Planets and Planet X.
Yeah, and with the space-phone channels being monitored the way they are, and Planet X almost blocked.
There's a leak somewhere, Happy.
Well, it sure isn't Benson. Why, in a whole week, Benson's Space Patrol guard didn't see anyone get through to Benson that didn't have proper identification.
Space Patrol guard?
Yes, sir. Benson asked for special protection around his home in Neptune City a couple of weeks ago.
Why did he want special protection?
Well, he told the Neptune City chief he'd received an anonymous threat. Well, after a week, the chief figured it was just a crank and called the patrol off.
Why didn't you mention that before, Happy?
Well, chief, sir, I guess I figured it wasn't important. If Baccarati's cousin was spying for the prince, he wouldn't ask for Space Patrol protection, would he? Or would he?
Well, we're in Saturn City, Hap. I think we'll keep an eye on Thomas Benson. Meanwhile, far out in space, avoiding the regular space lanes, a space cruiser races toward Saturn. In it are Prince Baccarati and his scientific aide, Dr. Malengro.
Your disguise is excellent, Your Highness. If I hadn't helped you make up, I swear I'd never recognize you.
We'll pass the casual inspection. And since the Space Patrol has no reason to suspect that I'll be on Saturn, we'll have no trouble.
Suppose your cousin Thomas doesn't have the jewels with him on Saturn.
Of course he's got them. That's why he left Neptune and came to Saturn to hide the jewels. I know those threats would worry him, and when a man like my cousin is frightened, he doesn't trust his own judgment from one minute to the next.
In trying to find a safer place for the jewels, he practically brings them out into the open.
That's right. He thought it would be clever to conceal millions worth of jewels with a dealer in worthless junk like Doctor.
But evidently, Zucker knew nothing of the gems. I'm sure your agent could have made him talk.
My men bungled there. You should have known my cousin wouldn't trust a small shopkeeper with that much treasure. What Thomas had in mind probably was to conceal the gems in various bric-a-brac without Zacra's knowledge. My agent should never have struck Zacra. At least, not until he was sure Thomas has completed his arrangements.
Yes, Excellency. Now your cousin will be frightened away.
We'll get the jewels all right, Melania. I've got to. I need them to pay off my agent. And to buy information, I need to keep ahead of Commander Corey.
Of course, Your Highness.
5 minutes out of Saturn City.
You've made excellent time from Planet X, Your Highness.
We don't have much to spare. Knowing Thomas the way I do, he's probably getting ready to leave Saturn to look for another place to hide his...
Yes, Happy?
I just picked up some information about Thomas Benson. He's booked passage on the Space Queen for Neptune for the night.
And he told me he was staying here on Saturn for a while. Well, let's get out to the spaceport and find out why Thomas Benson is suddenly anxious to return. At the Saturn City spaceport, Thomas Benson nervously paces back and forth in an almost deserted wing of a big terminal building, unaware that two men are watching his every move.
Attention, please. The Space Queen will blast off for Neptune in 20 minutes. Gate 9 is now open. Passengers are requested to board the ship immediately.
Just a moment, Thomas. What's your hurry?
Well, I don't believe I know you. If you don't mind, I'll just get aboard.
Don't you recognize your own cousin?
You?
That's right. Your royal relation, Prince Baccarat. Now, if you'll be good enough to hand over those jewels.
I haven't any jewels.
Now, come, Thomas. At my father's death, you received quite a fortune in precious gems, and I want them.
So they're mine. He willed them to me.
He willed them to Baccarati. You have renounced our noble name. You're no Baccarati. You're just plain Thomas Benson. Now I need those jewels to restore the name Baccarati to its former luster in the solar system.
You're mad.
All geniuses are considered mad by the ordinary. And the stupid. I can put those gems to good use, Thomas. Now, hand them over.
You don't think I'd be carrying them with me?
Perhaps not. And you're anxious to get back to Neptune. Therefore, the jewels are still there. Very well. I'll take you to Neptune in my ship.
Oh, you can't. You're wanted by the Space Patrol if they catch you.
They won't catch me. You didn't recognize me, my own cousin. And Commander Corey walked within 20 feet of me while he was following you.
Corey? Here at the terminal?
Yes.
Good. You can't possibly take me away with Corey here.
Oh, and he knows who you are. He doesn't think you're Prince Baccarat.
He knows who I am. And if he tries to force me...
I have an idea. Get into this vacant room over there. We'll change clothes. And I'll remove this disguise. Hurry up. Or will I have to use it?
Attention, please. Gate 9 will close in 1 minute. Passengers bound for Neptune on the Space Queen must board the ship immediately.
What happened to Benson, sir? Is he told?
He may have. If he leaves the terminal, he'll be followed.
Commander, look. Going through that other gate. Is that Benson?
You're right. That gate leads to the private cruiser blast off ramp.
That Benson's pulling a fast one, huh?
Come on, Hap, let's follow him.
He's heading for the big private cruiser.
Keep in the shadow of this freight loading platform, Happy. All right, come on, let's close in. Just a minute, Benson.
Yes?
I thought you promised to stay on Saturn. Step over here into the light.
Anything to oblige, Corey? Commander, it's Prince Baccarati.
Get him, Hap.
All right, well, then go use your ray gun. Need to be done, Elaine. Now, help me get Corey and the cadet aboard my ship. After we get the jewels, we'll give the commander a one-way trip to Planet X.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment.
That was an F-86 Sabre jet fighter in actual combat in Korea. I'm George Welch, Chief Test Pilot of the Sabre jet at North American Aviation in Los Angeles. The Sabre is 37 feet long, weight 8 tons. The wings are swept back at a 35-degree angle, and their span is 37 feet. The top speed of the Sabre jet is more than 650 miles an hour. I was lucky enough to make the first flight in the F-86 Sabre jet. The first time up for the 50th, every flight is important. That's why I have to keep in top shape. I like to eat good food with lots of energy in it. Rice Chex and Wheat Chex meet that test, and they taste exactly right. I think you'll like them, too.
No other cereal, puffed or flaked, contains so much nourishment in such concentrated bite-sized form. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex.
And now, back to the spies from Planet X. Prince Baccarati donned a disguise and came to Saturn to steal a fortune in precious gems from his cousin Thomas Benson, who closely resembles the evil prince. Thinking they were following Benson, Buzz and Happy were overpowered by Baccarati and Dr. Malengro, and now are captives in the prince's private cruiser heading toward Neptune. In the compartment with them is their fellow prisoner, Thomas Benson.
I'm telling you the truth, Commander. I was only going back to Neptune to protect my people.
Why didn't you tell me that before?
I realized I should have told you everything, but I didn't want to bring my cousin's name into it. You see, I managed to live down the fact that I'm a Baccarat. I wanted to avoid unpleasant publicity.
Someone's outside the door.
I can only work my hands free.
Take it easy, Hap.
Gentlemen, are you enjoying the trip?
Well, Baccarati, going to a masquerade?
I presume my disguise. You see, we'll be landing on Neptune in a few minutes. And after my cousin gives me the jewels from his vault, I shall remove my disguise and return to my ship as Cousin Tom.
You're going to leave me in Neptune City, then?
Yes. When I have the jewels, you'll be of no further use to me, cousin.
Why do you need the jewels, Baccarati? I understood you were rich.
Yes, but it costs quite a bit to maintain my spy system on the United Planets, Commander. And you must admit, it's quite effective.
It has been so far, Baccarati. Frankly, I don't see how you do it. I mean, maintain contact between Planet X and the race.
I might as well tell you, Corey, since there is nothing you can do about it. I have a robot receiving station on Saturn's 8th moon.
Funny we haven't picked up any messages from it.
Not at all. You see, there are no transmitters at the station, merely receivers.
But what good does it do for a robot just to receive messages?
They're recorded on tape and automatically indexed electronically for the agent they're intended for.
And your spies visit moon number 8 of the spaceship, get them information and instructions, and go back to work.
Exactly. An occasional innocent-looking prospecting ship visiting the deserted moon never arouses suspicion.
Very clever, Baccarati.
Thank you, Commander. Now, Cousin Thomas, I'll release you. We're about to land, Corey. You and the cadet will remain in the ship till I return. Dr. Malengo will see that you're come.
A few moments later, two men of almost identical size and build get out of a surface car in front of a handsome dwelling in Neptune City. They enter the building and proceed to a large room. Nervously, one of the men presses a button in the wall, and the panel slides silently.
You can feel, Thomas. I'll open the safe.
I can't remember the combination.
I have a few tricks that will jog your memory.
It's a very sensitive electronic combination lock. I don't think I can...
Just try it and quit stalling. Open it.
The jewel for him. That's in the jewel box.
Open it up. Not that I doubt your honesty, of course. Are you sure this is all of them?
Yes.
All right. I'll be running along now, Thomas. First, I'll take the precaution of using this radar on you. After all, I couldn't have you spreading an alarm till I'm safely on my way back to Planet X.
Removing his disguise, Prince Baccarati boldly returns to the Neptune City spaceport, boards his ship, and blasts off. Now, an hour later, with Dr. Malengo at the controls and the ship headed toward Planet X, the Prince taunts his prisoner, Commander Corbett.
You see, Commander, everything is working fine. You're out to do it.
What did you do with your cousin, Baccarati?
Oh, he'll be all right in a few hours. You know, for years I hated the idea that Thomas looked like me. It offended my sense of individuality. Now I'm rid of it. Oh, the approach warning. Something's wrong.
Space Patrol ship approaching at 2 o'clock, Your Highness. What are your orders?
Space Patrol ship? Confounded. Thomas couldn't have put an alarm in this quickly. Hurry, come out front with me. Get moving.
See it, Your Highness?
Of course I see it. That's why I brought Corey out here. We can use him to persuade the ship not to fire on us.
Excellent idea, Your Highness.
Wait. That's a robot scout ship.
That's right, Baccarati. It's sending out electronic information on your position and vector.
I'll fix that, Malengo. Use the proton gun.
At once, Excellency.
Hurry up. That's it before it can relay our vector. Stand right where you are, Corey. I got it, Your Highness. Lone True Six. Good work, Malengo.
It certainly is. Now there won't be any doubt that patrol ships will come after you. What do you mean? When that robot ship stops sending a space phone signal, a squadron will immediately come here to investigate.
Malengo, change our vector.
Where to, Your Highness?
Any place but toward Planet X. I know. Head for Saturn moon number 8. I can hide out there till we learn it's safe to return to Planet X. Come on, Corey, back to your compartment. Change vector, sir. Where's he taking you?
Wants to hide out on moon number 8. A smart move, huh?
Yeah. Really, what's that in here? It's the jewel box.
Mm-hmm. I managed to pick it up while Baccarati was excited over the space approach.
That's right, sir, but what good are they going to do with it?
I don't know. Except it'll worry Baccarati when he misses him. Can't stand up.
Yes, sir?
There's a locker under that seat. See if we can get it open.
Oh. One of these weapons in here. Just some space suits and a few tools.
How many space suits?
3. And here's an accommodate port. Hey, we could cut our way out of the compartment and rush Baccarati and Malengo.
Well, they're armed. If we failed, it would be our last chance.
With these space suits, maybe we could get out of the ship. I know, through the cargo loading tube.
Happy, get those suits out. I'll go to work in the door with the atomo torch. Take the spacer phone out of the third suit.
There's no sign of the ship in the viewscope, Your Highness.
Good. And we've thrown them up. If we can reach moon number 8, we'll be in the clear.
Commander Corey calling all space patrol units, the Neptune, Jupiter, Saturn sectors.
Listen, the escort.
How did he get a spacer?
I don't know. The locker. He got into the locker. Those extra spaces. Come on, we got to stop him.
Commander Corey to all space patrol units. Prince Baccarati is heading for Saturn moon number 8 in a private cruiser. Be careful. The ship is armed with a proton gun.
They're gone. They're out of the compartment.
Your Highness, they must have left the ship, the cargo chute. They've escaped.
Wait. Back to the control compartment. Hurry.
I'm unable to give the registry number of Baccarati's ship, but it's a Class B cruiser. This vector is approximately 40 degrees sun-regulus orientation.
Confound it, Malengo. He'll have every ship in the universe after us.
Your Highness, look out the starboard viewport. There they are.
I knew it. They're floating along with the ship.
Now, what is that Corey's call? I hope they haven't heard him yet.
They will, soon enough. The proton gun. That will fix him.
But, Your Highness...
Get out of my way. We got to stop Corey. And that proton gun will do the trick.
Your Highness will only...
Attention all space patrol units. This is an emergency.
This will silence him.
Commander Corey calling all units. This is an emergency.
Ladies, without a trace. Both of them.
That will take care of Corey from here.
If we can't continue to moon number 8, someone may have heard his space.
We'll change back to again. Perhaps we can proceed directly to Planet X. The space patrol will be... Oh, no.
What's the matter, Your Highness?
The jewel. Well, where is the jewel box? I had it in my hand a while ago.
That's what I was trying to tell you, Your Highness. You put them there on the edge of the control panel when that robot ship appeared. Corey must have taken them when you weren't looking.
My treasure. Corey had it when the proton gun blew him up. My tools disintegrated. Why didn't you warn me?
I do, Your Highness.
You idiot! I have to think of everything around here. Now what are we going to do?
You won't need those jewels now, Baccarati.
Corey!
Take care of Malengo, Happy.
Yes, sir.
All right, Baccarati.
You gotta be sensible, or shall I fix it so nobody will mistake you for your color?
You will, Corey. I've had enough.
You can cover it, Happy.
Yes. I said you were in those spacesuits.
Sure you did. I didn't want you searching the ship for the spacer phone I was really using, so I used 2 suits as decoys. We're heading for moon number 8. You're going to show me that robot receiving station, Baccarati. A few hours later, Buzz sets Baccarati's cruiser down on the rocky surface of Saturn's moon number 8. Then he and Happy hold ray guns on Malengo and Baccarati as the 4 men, clad in spacesuits, step out on the airless Saturn.
Keep moving, Baccarati. Stand at the foot of this big cliff, Corey. You and Malengo go first. Watch your step, Happy. That's quite a drop. Move along, Malengo. You're in my way. Your Highness. Baccarati, grab Malengo. He's falling. Oh! Grab that ledge. He's got it, sir. All right. Steady now, Malengo. I've got hold of your arm. And hang on to me. Yes, sir. All right, now. Pull. I've got you, sir. as though Baccarati pushed Malenko instead of trying to help him. Where is Baccarati? Good luck, he's gone. I forgot all about him, trying to save Malenko. Happy, he's climbed up and headed for the ship. You watch Malenko. I'll go up after him. Yes, sir. Oh, it's too late. There he goes. My gods. Hey, get that. Baccarati's willing to kill this guy to make a getaway, and Malenko says, good luck. I have an idea Baccarati won't get very far. Space Patrol ships will be showing up pretty quick. Commander, the proton gun. Baccarati can blast us to bits. Not without the proton firing sound. I removed it from the gun right after the fight. I took that along with the jewels. Oh, boy, that sure saved our lives. Come on. Let's get down to the receiving station. That information, we can round up Baccarati's spies in a few hours.
An action preview of next week's exciting adventure in just a moment. Hi, Space Patrollers. It's the day of the big parade on Terra, and just about every Space Patroller and his little brother have turned out to watch the fun. Man, it sure is a swell parade. Now, hey, wait a minute. What's that coming down the street now? Why, it's the Space Patrollers Drum and Bugle Corps number 5, all the way from Venus City, Venus. Wow, just listen to those supercharged bugles and hear those supercharged drums. One thing for sure, these Space Patrollers had their bite-sized checks today. And how about you, gang? You know, the best way in the universe to start off the day is with a big bowl full of bite-sized rice checks or wheat checks. Because no other cereal, flake, or puff contains so much energy in such concentrated bite-sized form. Yes, sir, you're packing in plenty of vitamins and minerals in every delicious bite you take. And that means Energy Plus for you. And remember, Space Patrollers, September is Better Breakfast Month. Getting a good, big breakfast every morning is important because you haven't had anything to eat for hours and hours. So before you march off for the day, have yourself a better breakfast, a real Space Patrol breakfast with rice checks or wheat checks. And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy have trapped one of Prince Baccarati's spies in a sub-basement in Jupiter City.
No use, Happy. We could never break it down.
That's right, Corey. You can't escape.
Coming from that speaker up there. Cirkin, listen to me.
You listen to me. I'm getting off this planet, Corey. Prince Baccarati tipped me off that a guided missile has been launched toward Jupiter City. There's nothing you can do to stop it.
Be sure to join us again next week for the thrilling story, Target Jupiter, when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Wilson again present Space Patrol! Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Dever. Other players were Bela Kobach, Norman Jolly, Ken Mayer, and Dick Fields. Dick Tufel speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Wilson again present Space Patrol! And be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.